Got a new podcast with iHeart in the NFL, and we're calling it The Season with Peter Schrager. In each episode of this season, I'm going to empty my proverbial notebook and take you inside and behind the scenes on the conversations that happen at the highest levels of NFL franchises. Listen to The Season with Peter Schrager on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Today, the Washington Commanders released a statement saying owner Dan Snyder has hired Bank of America to consider potential transactions involving the franchise. Asked if Snyder is considering selling the team, a spokesman said they are exploring all options. Snyder's ownership has come under increased pressure recently amid NFL and congressional investigations into the team's workplace culture and potential financial misconduct. If Snyder does sell, the process will be quick, believes ESPN's Adam Schefter.
I think the NFL would have no problem fast-tracking this sale. So whatever it takes to get it done, it won't be an issue. The NFL can go make happen whatever it wants to. And with the fact that some owners want to see Dan Snyder removed, tells me that they can make this happen as quickly as they want to have it happen.
Browns say quarterback Deshaun Watson remains on track to start December 4th when his 11-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy ends. Kansas self-imposing a 4-game suspension for basketball coach Bill Self and assistant Curtis Townsend as part of the fallout from a long FBI investigation into college basketball corruption.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. And yes, today is Midway Point Wednesday. I think that's what we're going to call this. It's the midway point of the NFL season. Coming up later on in the program, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock hours, we're going to do our projections for the rest of the season. And I got some doozies for you. Because Jeremy about had a heart attack looking at my results for the rest of the season.
Some of them make absolutely zero sense.
They don't, but that is exactly the point. They don't make any sense because the NFL doesn't make any sense. The NFL is drunk. And weird things happen. Weird things happen in this NFL season.
There's one weird thing that's not happening, and that is the opening drive.
The opening drive brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Go to 629 Brevard Road. If you need a new car, you're in the market for a new certified pre-owned car, go see the guys over at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Tell them we sent you. They'll give you $250 on top of whatever your trade-in is worth just for mentioning us because, they want to be your friends.
They put me in a truck. I now feel like much more of a man. I want to go pour concrete and put new light bulbs. Whatever the rest of you do, I have a guy for that.
They got you in a brand new Nissan Frontier. I saw it sitting out in the parking lot. It's pretty.
I'm going to use the bed of that truck. I haven't figured out for what yet because I've had trucks. Mm-hmm. It's been a while. But I'm going to find something to move just because I have a truck bed, and that is what you do. You put things in it.
And they're listening to this going, you better not scratch the bed of that truck.
Oh, it's got a liner in it.
Oh,
it's got a fantastic liner in it, too.
Nice.
You don't have to worry about that.
Nice. It's got
it also has hooks. I'm not 100% sure what they do, but I'm going to find out.
Okay. I mean, I would imagine that's for, like, your ties, for the tie down.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to put my
moving.
Are you kidding me? My ties are like $100. Oh.
Not that kind of.
You don't mean the kind that goes around your
No,
head.
Genius.
Look, I'm not the most. Look, they gave me a truck, not because I really know what to do with it, but I'm gonna figure it out.
I was gonna say you could tell Jeremy's the handyman.
Oh yeah, I have a guy for that.
But
well, I didn't even tell you what it was. You don't have to. I have
right.
a guy for that.
That's right. So as the midway point of the NFL season, we'll do our rest of the season projections for the NFL.
I had some things that really surprised me. If you've never done this with us, we do it in the preseason. You're not allowed to look at anything. You just go down, you pick the games, and you can go into home and away and anything that you notice. You just cannot go back and go, oh, the Saints aren't going to finish 4-13. Nope. Winners, losers, and see what you have at the end of the day.
Right. So we did it. We'll give you the results coming up later on in the program. Stick with us here in the Sportsocracy on 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Also, we got news going around the college football world as, well, Auburn's going to be looking for a new head coach. Who could take that job? Were they right? Were they wrong?
I'm going to
get rid of Brian Harsin?
I'm going to do that thing I do about once every 2 years, which is really perturb Auburn fans by telling you where you fit in the world, because it's not where you think you are.
Yeah, you're not going to like what he has to say.
Do you remember what I said the last time?
I do.
That we did this?
I do.
And you compared Auburn to Tennessee, and I mocked you openly?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, one of them's number one in the country right now. The other one is looking for their second coach in 2 years.
Yeah. I do remember that lengthy conversation about what's the better program. Obviously, that's been answered now.
Good old Rocky Top. Woo!
I'm not allowed to sing that song this week. Can't do it. I'll join you.
I'll sing it.
I'll join you in the Rocky Top next week.
I don't think you'll join me in the Rocky Top next week. I think next week that song will make you very, very angry.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't have the highest of hopes, but we'll get more into that later on in the week as we look ahead to this weekend's action in the NCAA. It's going to be phenomenal, but
today's a good day.
Why is that?
Because we might be one step closer to eradicating Daniel Snyder.
This is very true. Very true. As you heard in the Sports Center top of the hour, it looks like the Snyders have made contact with the bank. They've called old Bank of America and said, hey, could you help us out here if we need to sell this thing? And
I don't know what that – I've never had enough money to know what that means. You have to call the bank to ask them how to sell something? That's FAFO money right there.
Well, yeah. I mean, because you're in for a $5 billion transaction here if you're going to sell the whole thing outright?
This is step 2. I told you how this would ultimately go. Jeff Bezos is going to own a team in this league. Mm-hmm. And if you remember, I said there's only about 5 that I think would tickle his fancy. One of them is the Washington Commanders.
100%.
He just comes in and goes, if I give you $8 billion, is that enough? I found it in my couch cushions. It was a good month on Prime.
Right. College football playoff poll came out yesterday. And, Jeremy, you agree with me they got it right?
Yes.
They got it right. Tennessee's the number 1 team in the country. It's not even close, actually.
No, it's close.
Yeah, I don't feel that way.
Here's all you need to know. Illinois 17, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's not like we have the deepest pool of teams.
But from the resume that Tennessee has put out, it shouldn't be close. It shouldn't even be a thought of who's number 1 in the country. You've beaten 5 top 25 teams. Nobody else can say that.
Mm-hmm. I've said for 2 weeks now they would be my 1.
Mm-hmm. Tennessee's 1, Ohio State's 2, Georgia's 3, and Clemson's 4. I feel like that's What?
I can't get into what the bangers are going to be, but I can tell you one of those teams is on the wrong side of the bangers this week.
Okay. All right. All right.
I mean, obviously one of them is because two of them play each other.
I was going to say.
Another of
one.
them is on the wrong side of the bangers.
Another one outside of the Georgia-Tennessee matchup. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's get it going here. Daniel Snyder. Daniel Snyder is, like I said, the Snyders have reached out to Bank of America to help them explore the potential transaction involving the team. Now, this is not, hey, we're 100% going to sell the team. We may be selling minority stakes. Remember, he purchased all the minority stakes from everybody that was trying to get him ousted. So maybe he's looking to share ownership once again. Or maybe he's finally getting the message that nobody likes you. You're not a part of this club anymore. And if you don't sell it now, we're going to embarrass you. That's how I feel this is going to eventually wind up. And someone has had the conversation with him of you need to do it now before you try to pick a fight.
Conversations with RJ in our YouTube chat said the Commanders aren't for sale, it's a minority share. Well, here's the thing. There's a funny part of that. They never specified any of that.
No.
Because I have a theory that's a little different. I feel like, and look, I've said this before on the show, I will admit when I'm wrong. I thought Daniel Snyder had kept receipts and the NFL was scared, and what does he know? I underestimated one thing because I've gone down this Washington rabbit hole, and there's one thing that I didn't think about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the NFL owners. When you own a team, you need allies. Whether it's the city, whether it's the state, whether it's the county, you can go down all the political. He has none.
No, he doesn't.
He has none. He has a stadium that is falling down on itself, and he's probably looking at this asset going, is the juice worth the squeeze here? Everybody here hates me, and for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the biggest sale of a team in U.S. history.
Yes.
No doubt, and it won't be close.
Mm-hmm.
The text I got this morning, it starts at 5 and it won't end there. Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close. I think it's closer to 7.
Closer to 7. Okay.
Of which the Denver Broncos just sold for 4.2.
Right.
So at some point you get somebody that has this much money. And look, we've all known forever. I can't tell you what he has done. I can tell you that he has done something. I can tell you that there has been enough smoke around this team for long enough that there's something there. If you kick the rocks out, all of those different things, you're going to find something. And my thought is that he has figured out, I mean, I can take you all down with me. Doesn't mean I'm not going down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's looking at Robert Sarver going, well, that's not going to be pleasant. Because Robert Sarver basically has no control over where his team is sold.
Right.
I got to listen to a full 20-minute discussion on, well, but he could sell it to like his brother. That's not how that works.
Mm-mm.
And now you've got an NFL franchise that is just printing money.
Because what has to happen? What has to happen when you sell a team in the NFL?
Oh, there's a lot of things that have to happen.
But I'm saying you don't get to just pick and choose. It's not like
you do to an extent.
You do to an extent, but it has to be approved.
And that's kind of the point.
And they're not going to approve that should he try to sell it to somebody inside the family or whatever.
No.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have any allies anymore.
And where you were striving there is where I was trying to get to. I feel like, and I'm going to refer this to the Pat McAfee thing. All right, so I did and I'm mad about Pat McAfee and them not letting him use logos, which I still maintain is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. He had a fan draw logos today. It was phenomenal. It was a little green bird and a cartoon bull with a red and white thing on its face.
He should have Sam Darnold draw all of his logos.
Josh Allen's not much better. His Buffalo Bill looked like a potato. But I'm going to take these two things side by side. You're very powerful. We do not doubt that. whether it's Pat, who is the most powerful person in sports media, or Daniel Snyder, who is one of the most powerful owners in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that you're not more powerful than the sum of all parts. And so you can fight these fights all you want to. You can make jokes about it. You can be defiant. You can do whatever you want to. It'll cost you in the long run.
Mm-hmm. It is Daniel Snyder, literally Daniel Snyder against the world. I'm not even sure at this point his own wife is on his side. Because remember, she was supposed to get control. She was supposed to be doing the ins and outs, the day-to-day operations. She's the one that shows up at the league meetings. But then what did we find out in that big expose that ESPN did just, 3-4 weeks ago? He's still got his hands in more of the day-to-day operations than you even want. So he's just propped her up as the face, and he's being investigated by everyone. And the NFL, Congress, the state legislature there in Virginia. I mean, he is, as you said, no allies anywhere. And you can't run a successful business that way.
No, and there's one thing that is more important to successful people than their ego, and that's money.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a bit of, you always say it's me putting my tinfoil hat on my head, but once I say it, I don't think you'll be able to unsee it.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
Ahoy, matey! At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety. From your local catch to flavors from around the world. Wild sashimi tuna, Charleston crab cakes, mountains of shrimp, bourbon salmon, wild mahi-mahi with mango salsa. It's enough to make any salty sea captain ready to set a course for the bounteous treasure of the Ingles Seafood Department. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices, love the savings.
I'm feeling like a winner these days. Because I have lost 90 pounds with the PhD weight loss program, I've never had a weight loss program give me the kind of results that PhD has given me. Every time I walk in that place, I mean, I feel like the guy on Cheers. You walk in the door and everybody's like, hey, Tank's here. They're excited to see me. They're excited about my progress. They keep me motivated to keep going.
Unlike Tank, I had never actually tried a diet program. I'd never had to. I'd always been a little doughy. Well, about a year ago, that changed. Fast food and poor decisions had caught up to me, and I'd gotten a little hefty. Just under a year on this program, I'm back to my high school weight. I'm wearing extra large clothes again.
PhD can give you the answer to your weight loss problem because, yes, it is a problem. If you continually go on fad diet after fad diet and don't see any progress and especially lasting results, cure it with PhD weight loss. Go to myPhDweightloss.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The midterms are here. With so much at stake, MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis to give you a greater understanding. Watch coverage of the 2022 midterms, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on MSNBC.
COVID vaccines just got a big update because updated vaccines now protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron, and everyone 5 and older can get one.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Back here on ESPN Asheville, it is the Sportsocracy, and man, we all just can't wait for it. When Jeremy says, "I have a theory,"
I love theories.
You know this is going to be right on the level of birds aren't real.
Hashtag birds aren't real. Has there ever been a better time to sell a home than right now?
No.
Has there ever been a better time to sell a car than right now?
No.
Why do you think that doesn't translate to an NFL franchise? This team Forbes estimated this team at $5.6 billion.
Okay.
That's not really knowing what the television deal is going to look like. It's going to be astronomical. They're going to keep printing money. But here's my question. How much better can it get? My grandfather's old favorite saying that I heard 1,000 times when I was a kid: pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. And I feel like Daniel Snyder's looking around going, they could force me out at any time.
Exactly.
And if I don't play my cards right, this could cost me billions of dollars.
What is it going to gain you? You got to think of it from the standpoint of a billionaire businessman. What's it going to gain me to get into a whizzing contest with not only the NFL itself, but every other owner in the league?
And what does it benefit me to burn everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, and that's where I think he may have overplayed his hand of, you can burn Jim Irsay. I don't know what you could possibly say about Jim Irsay that we don't already suspect. How does that benefit you? What does that do for you? Because there is a possibility that you end up, you'll sell it to who we want you to. And there's no doubt in my mind who they want it to be. There's a reason you see Jeff Bezos in a box with Roger Goodell.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw somebody, I apologize, I don't remember who it was, said something about, well, Jeff Bezos owns media rights. He can't own the team. You ever heard the term shell corp? My wife's a financial advisor. Trust me. Trust me. There are a lot of ways to move money, and there's a lot of ways to get around things.
Is that in the rules? That you can't have ownership of a media company while you own the NFL?
I believe there is a
team?
nepotism clause that you can't have an invested interest in something that affects all 32 teams and have an interest in a team.
Okay.
However, your brother can.
Mm-hmm.
New York Jets did it for years.
Mm-hmm. Steve Bezos.
Christopher Johnson.
Steve Bezos, he's right in line. I have no idea that he
I was
has
about
a brother
to say,
or what
does
his name
he have
is.
a brother named? Why is every rich person named Steve?
I mean, it seems to be a very popular name.
There are a lot of ways to do this. And look, I'm going to be honest. I've been saying this for about 2 years now. The NFL is going to come to a point, who can actually afford to own these teams? I mean, it's going to be some kind of gross consortium, and I know you can put Peyton Mannings and guys like that in as figureheads. I'm talking about who's cutting the checks. This team's going to sell for $7 billion.
You have to have a Walton. You have to have,
And there's 200 of those, and I would wager half of them have no interest in an NFL team.
Right. Jeff Bezos, we've seen Steve Ballmer get involved in
He's
sports.
a name that's been talked about with Washington.
And it should be.
And I will say, Washington just I'd never forget this. Daniel Snyder's bad. The next owner will be better than that. I'm just saying that people with this much money tend to come with a little bit of baggage.
Right. I saw an article the other day. If it goes up for sale, I think it was not Ben, because he's the bad basketball player. It was Bill Simmons on his podcast was talking about the Washington Commanders coming up for sale and who should buy them. Barack Obama. And I went, Barack Obama doesn't have that kind of money.
Barack Obama could be 0.1% owner of an NFL team.
Exactly. Like, he would need all
he could
all
be
of
in the
presidents.
crew. Don't get me wrong. He could be in the group.
Right.
But that's not the one cutting the checks.
No, it's not the one cutting the checks at all. I laughed when I saw it because I was like, well, wait.
And
you
look,
think
this is
Barack Obama's got $6 billion sitting somewhere. Okay,
and look,
all right.
this is this is a stalwart franchise. So, I mean, you'll get names that come out of the woodwork here that you've never heard before.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I know he could be putting out feelers and he ends up selling minority stake. Or he could be sitting on Elon Musk's Twitter just reading all the reaction going, everyone hates me.
Mm-hmm.
I can do nothing right.
No. And the problem is, this is not just a social media thing.
He changed the team name, which he said he was never going to do.
Mm-hmm.
He changes the team name. Your opinion on that is your opinion on that. It was always going to happen at some point. The new merch is about as fiery as you could possibly ask for. Nobody cares.
Mm-mm.
The stadium is falling apart. The interest is drastically less than you would like it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like at some point your hubris and your bank account cannot have conflicting interests, but to such a point.
And obviously, if they were winning games, then it would boost the interest a little bit, but I'm not even sure it would have the effect that he wants to see because of him.
Oh, no doubt.
He has made himself a pariah amongst all NFL fans, circles, the owners, whatever you want to call it. I feel like this is the first step to the team being sold off.
I don't really see how there's a way away from it.
He's got to get out of the game.
I don't really see how there's a way away from it because now you have alienated yourself, and it's one thing to alienate yourself from the fans. You can get over that.
Mm-hmm.
Win.
Mm-hmm.
It's shocking how fans will come back in droves for winners. How many people said, I will never watch the NFL again? Mm-hmm. Check the TV ratings.
Right.
Okay. Just more people watch the game on Amazon Prime that you have to pay $100-something a year for than watch the World Series. Okay? So spare me on that.
Mm-hmm.
You win, that'll come back. The problem is that you have alienated yourself from all of the rich guys that aren't going anywhere.
Right.
You've alienated yourself from Bob Kraft and Jerry Jones, the heavy hitters.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really this has not gone how I thought it would.
And also I feel like a huge part of this is not only that, because he could do that. He's been doing that. He's been making enemies since practically day one.
But he didn't
of
threaten
owning this team. I got that. But where I'm headed with this is I think more the reason to sell it is because I can't do anything with this asset. I can't make it better because I've made so many enemies, because of the Congress investigations, because of the state investigations. Like, I can't get a politician to sign off on a land deal for me for a new stadium.
He has land. He could build the state. The problem is he can't get it done. He can't get the deal done because he has no support.
Exactly.
And that's where I think that to me is where he overstepped his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because he thought, I'm insulated. This team is so popular that the politicians and all of the special interests will just go, okay. And that hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's looking at, like I said, the stadium is falling down. I don't genuinely know that stadium will be inhabitable 5 years from now. Then what do you do?
Hey,
I can't get a stadium deal done.
Right.
He's been trying forever.
You already have toilet water dropping on fans.
Ugh. Oh, that was
right.
That's enough reason not to go to a stadium. I got the poo on me.
I feel like today.
It's okay. The team has for 10 years.
Today should be a great day.
It's
for
been a good day.
all Washington Commanders fans, because this is your first step,
and it ultimately leads to better things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it does. Time to get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
I saw a tweet yesterday from Dick Vitale that I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, this is the guy who's been standing up against cheating in college sports forever. He's been the one railing against cheaters. And we know there are a bunch of cheaters out there. This is not really pointing fingers at anybody, But it was all about these investigations, the NCAA investigations due to the pay-for-play system that was in place for college basketball. And Dick Vitale's tweet was, all of these schools that have been accused, Kansas chief among them, it just needs to be dropped. Because it's taken the NCAA more than 2 years to figure out what punishments they want to hand down to Arizona and Kansas, and the list goes on and on. And then today, we get the story that Kansas has decided that Bill Self needs to be suspended because of the investigation, the FBI investigation into the college basketball corruption from 2017. It is Bill Self and assistant Curtis Townsend have been suspended for the first 4 games of this season. Aww. Like that's it. That's all you got. You gotta.
I mean, who do they play in those 4 games?
I mean, it's not good.
Oh,
because they play Duke.
Oh,
there's the Kansas Duke game in the Champions Classic on November the 15th. Norm Roberts is going to be your head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks.
Norm Roberts, like the old Missouri coach, Norm Roberts, who was awful.
I guess. Look, I'll put it this way. In the ESPN story about who's going to be coaching that game, Norm Roberts doesn't even have a link. You know, they put the link on everybody so you could go and check out Bill Self's page. They don't even have one for Norm Roberts.
Yeah, Norm Roberts, I want to say, was the coach at, I think it was Missouri.
He may be.
And
but
he was awful.
He's the guy that's going to be leading the the Kansas Jayhawks against the Duke Blue Devils in that.
No, I'm thinking of the wrong guy. He was the head coach at St. John's.
Okay.
And they never actually finished above 500. He was there for a long time, too.
Mm-hmm. First 4 games of the season, it's that Duke game, Omaha, North Dakota State, and Southern Utah. That's the 4 games they're going to miss.
So you'll go 3-1.
Yeah, and then they'll be back.
Here's the thing: you were going 3-1 with Bill Self too. So
absolutely, and then they'll be back just in time to go to the battle for Atlantis to face NC State. It's a hell of a trip. That's a hell of a trip. At least they won't miss out on the vacation part of this. But this is apparently Kansas trying to take that stance of don't do anything to us, NCAA. I don't think that's coming anyway. If it was going to happen, it'd have happened by now.
We are at a weird time in ESPN 8 The Ocho Sports.
Okay.
Because all of the weird sports seem to have scandals happening. We had the fishing story where they were loading the fish with weights. We had the chess story with the adult device that was being used to cheat. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. I've wanted to tell this story for a month, and there's physically no way I could tell it on the show without getting fired. Now we have possibly the most unsettling one of all. It's Baggate. The sport of cornhole has a new world-shattering epidemic.
Uh-oh.
There was a tournament in Rock Hill, South Carolina. This was earlier this year. A lot of people showed up trying to get a glimpse at their favorite cornholer.
Move on.
Apparently the bags were too thin.
I hate it when my bag's too thin.
I love cornhole. There's enough double entendres for all of us. So now a lot of people in the sport have come out and said, well, now that you mention it, I played in tournament blank, and mine were too thin. Well, the problem is that one of the best cornholers on the planet had them weighed, and they were too thin. And apparently this has been a problem for a long time, and nobody can figure out why. And this sounds like a super myopic story until you realize one thing. Where do the bags come from? Nobody brings their own bags because you're not allowed to.
Right.
So they're coming from the association.
Okay.
That's a problem.
So the association is giving out light bags.
And this is one of those things that it's a perceived impropriety.
Mm-hmm.
Of, well, who are you doing this to? And why? And is there corruption? I just love the fact.
Scandal.
I love the fact that I went to a national news syndicated website 1 week before a national election, and they had the term cornholer as large as you could put it in type on this website. That's one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
That's great. That's great.
Another one of my favorite things, Brian Harsin.
Yep.
He gone.
He is gone. He has been axed from the Auburn program, and now they got to start the search for a new head coach. And there's so many names that are being bandied about, and just names that are absolutely ridiculous. Like, why in the hell would he take that job? We'll talk about it up next right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Pulling up into the 70s this weekend. The calendar says it's November, but boy, it feels like springtime here in Asheville. Some sprinkles up from the southwest tonight, low 44. Partly cloudy Thursday, warm, high 70 degrees and upper 60s near 70 Friday and through the weekend. Could even see some mid-70s early next week for Monday. If you're curious, records around 80 degrees for Asheville at the airport for early November. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. This fall, there are updated COVID-19 booster shots designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. If it's been at least 2 months since your primary series or booster, schedule your updated COVID-19 booster dose at vaccines.gov.
Well, I'm an orthopedic surgeon, board certified.
Meet Dr. John Herzog, who's certainly done his share of knee and hip replacements. But these days, he's encouraging his patients to look at regenerative medicine options, now available at QC Kinetics.
I'm kind of the anti-surgeon right now, and a lot of my buddies, if they hear me talking, they're going to give me a call.
Dr. Herzog says advances in regenerative medicine can give your achy joints lasting relief, using highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
We take the fluid out of you, we concentrate it, and put it in an area where they couldn't normally get to, and facilitate healing.
Are you suffering from constant pain due to arthritis or injury? Maybe it's time to look at alternatives to drugs and surgery at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in these exciting treatments.
What could be more natural than using your own body to heal yourself?
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com. The iHeartRadio Asheville Pro Football Pick'em Challenge is back. Just log on now to espnavl.com to make your picks. Each weekly winner gets a $50 gift card to Asheville Pizza and Brewing and will be a finalist for our grand prize. Log on now, espnavl.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Are you ready to tackle your banking needs? Home Trust Bank's team of expert advisors and lenders want to be your teammate. We want to hear your story, learn your aspirations, and assist you with financial needs, and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all your banking needs under one roof with a local and personalized touch at Home Trust Bank. Score big with Home Trust Bank. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
You know, things are going pretty well for the SEC. Well, a lot of the SEC. But there are some programs. There are some programs that just cannot be helped. I mean, Missouri's out here doing stuff.
Missouri.
They're cute.
You mean that team that just shellacked South Carolina?
Oh, it's so hilarious. I was going to mention them, too. South Carolina gets ranked number 25 in the country and then immediately poos the bed against Missouri. It's, there's a lot of teams at the top doing very well, and there's some others that are not doing so hot. And, well, Auburn looks to become a part of that upper echelon again, rather than being a bottom feeder, so they had to get rid of Brian Harsin. We knew this was going to be a disaster from the get-go. When Brian Harsin was hired as the head coach, coming in from Boise State, you knew he wasn't going to be able to compete.
No, this was one of the more dreadful hires I've ever seen.
He wasn't going to be able to compete on the recruiting trail. Obviously, there's a lot of, what did he call it? Outside voices.
Oh, you mean that same thing I said 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
That's been the worst-kept secret in all of college football. Auburn has too many boosters that have entirely too much power, which is why this talk that Lane Kiffin is going to leave Ole Miss. Stop.
For what?
First of all, do you know what Lane Kiffin's biggest qualm with Ole Miss is? It's the small-town atmosphere. He can't go anywhere. Do you not think that's going to be the same problem at Auburn? But they have all this NIL money. Yeah, they do. And you also just fired a coach after, 19 games? 21. Sorry, I did the math wrong. 21 games. Who with options looks at this job and goes, oh, yeah, that's the one? Lane Kiffin. Oh, okay. Deion Sanders. Stop.
And that's the thing. He's at the top of every one of those lists. Like,
of course he is.
I don't see that. I don't see that. Like, let's get – I feel like another conversation's coming up. The better program to be a part of. Ole Miss or Auburn? I feel like it's Ole Miss, and it's not close.
It's close because of the money. There's way more money in Auburn than there is in Ole Miss. But you also have to listen to a lot of outside influences. You have a whole lot of bosses, and you have to keep a lot of people happy. This hire is going to go exactly the same way that the last one did. You will chase every big name that you can get to listen to you. So you'll go Lane Kiffin. And you know what that'll lead to? A very large extension for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. And you'll chase Deion Sanders. And you know what that'll lead to? Deion Sanders going somewhere else. I do love how unabashed he is that he's taking another job. College Game Day came to Jackson State, and he basically looked dead in the camera and said, I'm open for business.
I mean, he's never been shy about sharing his feelings
at least respect
before.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done what he came to Jackson State to do. He's lifted HBCU programs all across the country just by leading by example. And now it's time for something else. Because I've got no doubt the best HBCU program out there. Now it's time to listen to the Power 5. Power 5 calls? Absolutely, I'm going to pick up the phone. That's exactly what he said.
And he's going to take a Power 5 job. I would say it's more likely he takes Georgia Tech than he takes Auburn.
I would agree.
Market size, there is money there. That puts you in Atlanta.
Potential.
That you're in the ACC as opposed to the SEC. You don't have to deal with Nick Saban. I'll give you 50 reasons that job's better. In that situation. I'm not saying Georgia Tech's a better job than Auburn. That's not what I'm trying to say.
And to be honest, it's not just Nick Saban anymore.
No, the SEC is a murderer's row of great coaches. Why would I want to tie my opportunity to that?
Right.
Now, that brings me to where does this ultimately end? And Chuck G in our YouTube comments has already hit one of the two names that I was going to touch on here, and that's Urban Meyer. Because Urban Meyer he's one of the few coaches that has the cachet of, I'm going to do this my way, and you're going to leave me alone.
Right.
That will also be ridiculously expensive. And I brought that up because I wanted to ask this question. Do you remember when Urban Meyer got fired by Jacksonville, and I told you the first college job that comes up, every booster, every fan will be screaming Urban Meyer, and you went, well, I don't know after this. This is 5 now. He's been the rumored candidate at every job in this hiring cycle, and it's not even kind of surprising. That's how college works. You can do nefarious things. We know you're doing it. Mm-hmm. We don't care. Mm-hmm. Do you win games, yay or nay? Do I think that's where Urban Meyer would want to go? Probably not. I don't think it makes a ton of sense.
I mean, it does when you consider the fact of the money.
Well, the money will be there.
Right. If they have as much NIL money as you say they do, we all know Urban Meyer.
The term I've been told, war chest. Mm-hmm. And there's more if you need it.
With NIL existing now, though, I mean, it kind of opens up the door for Urban Meyer, does it not?
Oh, no. I mean, no doubt. He's going to get another job. It's just a question of where. Right. I'm not sure this is where you would want to tie yourself.
I bought teams at Florida. I bought teams at Ohio State. I won national championships in both places. Why would I not come back in this free agency world of college football and continue to thrive?
And I feel like there is a quiet job out there somewhere. I can't tell you what it is. There's a quiet job somewhere that's going to come open, and it will intrigue him. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's Auburn, which leads me to who ultimately gets this job. And if I could find a place to aggressively bet on this, I would do it right now. Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze will be the next head coach at Auburn. Mm-hmm. Hugh Freeze would literally crawl from Virginia to Auburn, Alabama to get back in the SEC on his hands and knees through broken glass. I don't care what program it is. Just get me back to where I've been. He also has 2 wins over Nick Saban, which is easy to sell to the Auburn fan base. But it's not going to be cheap. He just signed an extension with Liberty through 2030. Mm-hmm. And I get that that's a smaller program. They have money like you would not believe. He's very comfortable. So this is not just going to be, hey, Hugh, SEC job, you want that? Nope. I'm going to need that big boy check too. Mm-hmm. But that's how this is. I mean, do you disagree?
I don't.
I don't see how it ends any other way.
You know, I felt like this is coming for a while.
Well, I mean, we even talked about him taking the Ole Miss job before Lane Kiffin did.
Right. Hugh Freeze going back to the SEC makes all the sense in the world.
Oh, and B. Malik in our YouTube comment said that's a big boy buyout, though. It's not as big as you think.
It doesn't matter. The
Hugh
buyouts
Freeze
don't
has
matter.
No, the buyout does matter, especially when you look at Auburn. Do you realize they're paying $50 million to coaches that are not at that program between Malzahn and Harsin? The buyout does matter. Not as much as everybody thinks, for one. For two, Hugh Freeze has been sculpting these extensions of, you're going to let me out. If I want out, I'm going to get out. Mm-hmm. But I think his buyout's $7.5 million, right, something like that.
But Jeremy and I were talking before the show, doing our prognostications for the second half of the NFL season, and that'll be coming up in the 4 and 5 o'clock hours of this here program today. So stick with us for that. But I said to you, look at the NFC South, look at the AFC South. The South does college football like nobody else. That's the pros where we struggle with football. But when football is king in the South, like it is, and in the SEC, that's why I say the buyout doesn't matter. Because we're already paying $50 million to these other dudes not to coach here.
Well, and that's I think you're being short. Well, you're being short-sighted on that, because you have to understand every dollar that you have to put into those buyouts is dollars that are not in the program for NIL and things like that. Because that money's still coming from boosters.
Right, but we will chase it.
You'll chase it, but it's not a limitless coffer. That's why they do buyouts like this. There's a reason for that. But Hugh Freeze has been positioning himself for this job.
Right, but Auburn will find a way to make it work. Auburn will find the money somewhere.
That's also the attractive part of him, though, is that he's not astronomically expensive like Urban Meyer would be. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to cost you $40 million to get him out of Liberty. My question is, how many of these bigger names do you chase openly before you realize you're Auburn? But we won a national title. So did Central Florida in their own mind. you're not one of the big boys. I said this 2 years ago, and you learned you FAFO'd, and you wound up with Brian Harsin.
Right. If he's interested, if Hugh Freeze is interested in the job, which I'm sure he probably is, but that's something that you need to work out behind closed doors before you don't embarrass yourself again.
And my fear is that they're going to. Every word that's come out of Auburn makes me think they're going to make the veiled overture to Lane Kiffin, which is going to lead to him signing the big boy extension, and that's one of those you can't cover that up. Why did Lane Kiffin get a gigantic extension in a year that they were good, but I would say it was a little disappointing because Auburn came calling.
Right.
And he turned to Ole Miss and went, I'm going to come back here because I would rather be here than there. You can't hide that. Deion Sanders, you can hide that a little better because plausible deniability. I told you he almost took the TCU job, and he was rather upset when it wasn't offered. You can cover that up, but I wouldn't wait long on Hugh.
Another name that keeps getting thrown around in this is Mark Stoops.
That's not an Auburn hire.
No.
Mark's and look, I think he's a great coach. He's about as sexy as a box of Kleenexes. So it's just not – that's not going to win the press conference, which I know if you're Auburn, we're not supposed to be trying to win the press conference. I get that, but you are. You are.
You have to.
You have
to recruit.
You have the GOAT himself on the other side of your state that is just absolutely dragging you in recruiting, dragging you in fundraising. You do have to win the press conference here a little bit. You have to be able to look at coaches in Alabama, in that Atlanta footprint that's close, that Georgia's killing you right now. Alabama's killing you right now. You have to have that guy that you go, this is why you come here. Because you're not that. I told you weren't that when you compared yourself to Tennessee. And I'll be honest with you, you're a lot closer to Missouri than you are to Tennessee, whether you want to admit it or not.
I would agree with that. I think the way this actually ends up going is they try for all of these, even Hugh Freeze, for whatever reason, that deal can't get done, and they'll hire Matt Rule. Which wouldn't be awful because he's proven that he can go and build college programs. I mean, he didn't work in the NFL, but he worked pretty well in college. I'm just saying, comparatively speaking, that would be another Brian Harsin.
Tea leaves, I will say, I think Cliff Kingsbury's the next head coach at Arizona State. I think Matt Rule's the next head coach at Nebraska. And Hugh Freeze is the next head coach at Auburn.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Do you have picks coming up?
Maybe a little
bit. Is that going to happen?
That's happening.
All right, we got picks here on ESPN Asheville.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Ahoy, matey! At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety. From your local catch to flavors from around the world. Wild sashimi tuna, Charleston crab cakes, mountains of shrimp, bourbon salmon, wild mahi-mahi with mango salsa. It's enough to make any salty sea captain ready to set a course for the bounteous treasure of the Ingles Seafood Department. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices, love the savings.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Did you hear about Taco Bell's apology? Yeah, they apologized for going too far with their breakfast. Like the naked egg taco and chicken biscuit nachos? It was too much. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food. Like the breakfast crunch wrap. Fluffy eggs, melty cheese, sausage, crispy hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Or, as some call it, a breakfast crunch thing. Grab one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation, which vary.
From the four corners of the globe, the world's greatest set their sights on one goal. The Breeders' Cup World Championships are coming to iconic Keeneland this November 4th and 5th. Over 2 days and 14 championship races, the pinnacle of international thoroughbred racing will put the most jaw-dropping, heart-pounding spectacle before your very eyes. Coverage begins Friday on USA and continues Saturday on USA and NBC. Visit breederscup.com/2022 to learn more.
Okay, can I have everybody's attention for just a second?
Morgan's media planning firm just landed a multi-million-dollar client.
Because we won the pitch.
She needs to staff up before trafficking hits a traffic jam.
So we're going to need research, planning, buying, obviously, and probably data analytics.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Coffee's the closers only.
Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
It's Wednesday night, which means we have Maction. It's time for Mac College football. We got 2 games tonight. The first one, the Northern Illinois, who cares? Take on the Central Michigan. Nobody knows where your school is. Northern Illinois is a 3.5-point favorite. Look, Central Michigan is bad. They were good last year, specifically running the ball. They lost a lot on that line, and Northern Illinois is sweltering against the run. This one's easy. Northern Illinois minus the 3.5, under the 55. The more intriguing of the two, Western Michigan takes on Bowling Green. 2 words that make a lot of sense, just not together. That's a place that no one knows where it is. Over-under's 47.5. Bowling Green's a 4.5-point favorite. You know that old saying of when you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one?
Uh-huh.
What does it mean when you have 5? Because that's what Western Michigan has chucked on the field this year.
Do what?
They have used every player on their roster under center at some point this year. Here's what that tells me. You are terrible offensively, and you're just throwing darts at a wall to see what sticks. I'm taking the Bowling Green. Nobody knows where you are. Minus the 4.5, over 47.5.
Take those wagers over to bethouse.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy. Get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put into the account, up to $2,500. Wednesday night action in college football.
Locked and loaded. Let's go. Bangers.
Degenerates. All of you. Sports Center's coming up next, and then second half NFL predictions begin.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Pulling up into the 70s this weekend. The calendar says it's November, but boy, it feels like springtime here in Asheville. Some sprinkles up from the southwest tonight, low 44. Partly cloudy Thursday, warm, high 70 degrees and upper 60s near 70 Friday and through the weekend. Could even see some mid-70s early next week for Monday. If you're curious, records around 80 degrees for Asheville at the airport for early November. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Mucinex Fast Max Cold and Flu All-in-One. Skip the symptoms, not the celebration.
Celebrate comeback season with Mucinex Fast Max Cold and Flu All-in-One. Its maximum strength formula tackles up to 9 cold and flu symptoms. Try Mucinex All-in-One and get $5 cash back to celebrate your comeback. Visit fastmaxcashback.com to learn more. Use as directed.
Did you hear about Taco Bell's apology? Yeah, they apologized for going too far with their breakfast. Like the naked egg taco and chicken biscuit nachos? It was too much. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food. Like the breakfast crunch wrap. Fluffy eggs, melty cheese, sausage, crispy hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Or, as some call it, a breakfast crunch thing. Grab one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation, which vary.
Staples has you covered for all your custom printing, just in time for the holidays. And right now at Staples, you can save 40% on custom holiday cards and invitations. In-store and online offer ends 12/17. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Explore more at Staples, the working and learning store.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
This is SportsCenter.
Statement saying owner Dan Snyder has hired Bank of America to consider potential transactions involving the franchise. Asked if Snyder is considering selling the team, a spokesman said they're exploring all options. Snyder's ownership has come under increased pressure recently amid NFL and congressional investigations into the team's workplace culture and potential financial misconduct. If Snyder does indeed do a 180 and decide to sell, the league is prepared, explains ESPN's Seth Wickersham.
The NFL has a list ready of people ready to go who have been vetted and cleared to make bids on a team like this. And when you look at the potential in that market and how badly he's messed up trying to get a stadium there and all of the opportunity there to bring back a cherished fan base, I think that this team would fetch a lot of money.
Kansas suspended basketball coach Bill Self and top assistant Curtis Townsend the first 4 games of the season, part of the fallout from the FBI investigation into college basketball corruption from 2017. Norm Roberts will serve as acting coach during the first 4 games.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back in to the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400 out in Haywood County. And, of course, you can hear us everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Take us with you everywhere you go, live or on demand. And see us on YouTube as well, thesportsocracy.com. We got the live video link up in the middle of the page. Click on it once you're through to YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat, and you can make fun of Jeremy's degenerate gambling habits.
Cousin Colin Greene said I would place a bet on a team located in the Atlantic Ocean if I could.
You would. You've bet on Florida
3 words,
before, haven't
Russian,
you?
table, tennis. I've seen me do it. Rona times were not fun for me.
They were not. We had a lot of fun with that, though, when we were back in the bunker.
I was finding varmints to put in a box and race them.
It seems like 6 years ago.
It was 6 years ago. It actually was 6 years ago. It's just time has slowed to a crawl.
We went through a lot of stuff in the dark Corona days. Locked away from all of you. We're glad though to be here, to be on YouTube, to be on ESPN Asheville.
And now we've moved on because now people are getting the flu again. But moving on. Here we go. Make them laugh. Make them laugh.
Yes, it is second hour of the program. Always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices. Love the savings. And, well, you know what? We decided it was time because we've hit the halfway mark of the NFL season.
Roughly. Technically, it's after this week, but it's not any. It's more fun to do it now.
When it's odd, when you got an odd number of games, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what is the midpoint of the season. But anyhow, we decided we want to see how things have changed since the first time that we did this in the preseason, going through the schedule, game by game, just what's your gut feeling on who's going to win what, and after you go through week by week, then you have your surprise standings at the end. And then, like I said at the start of the program, I got some doozies.
I figure we have to start in the division of your poopy team.
Oh, yeah.
And the division where we are an affiliate, the NFC South.
Not good. Not good. Like I said in the last hour, the pro rankings in the South, we don't do football so well. College football, we got that licked. NFL football, on the other hand, not so much.
I have the results of both of our procedures here, where we went through, picked every game for the rest of the year. We will give you the teams we have go to the playoffs, division winners, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Across 8 divisions, 2 of us did it. There were 2 that had teams that didn't win 10 games, winning divisions. Both of them were the NFC South.
Yes. The NFC South is currently led by the Atlanta Falcons at 4-4. Tampa Bay and New Orleans are 3-5.
I'm sure everybody had that at the halfway point. 100%. Your NFC division leaders, the Philadelphia Eagles, Minnesota Vikings, Atlanta Falcons, and Seattle Sea Chickens.
The Carolina Panthers in last place in the NFC South at 2-6.
And something we both have in common, we both have them finishing there, and neither one of us have them picking in the top 5.
Yeah, not good.
Not good because that's actually the definition of the worst way this could have gone.
Right, because I mean, for some reason you just can't help yourselves. You can't help yourselves but live with a little bit of hope.
I do have to say Jonathan Welch is the only person I knew that had the Falcons winning the division. And if that happens, I really hope you had a money line wager on that.
Absolutely. Because I feel like nobody could have predictable what has taken place, not only down in Tampa, but the rest of the division as well.
And there's another thing we both had in common. We both have the Bucs still winning this division.
Yep.
You at 8-9, me at 9-8.
Yeah. How about that hashtag no homer? See, I gave them fewer wins than you did.
I just okay. It's not good.
No,
you know
it's
why
not
you win
good.
so many games? Because you play the teams in this division.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. And unfortunately, the team that I still maintain is the most talented in this division is the only one who their schedule at the end of the year is brutal. It's the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a quarterback. You have everything else.
Mm-hmm.
No quarterback.
Which is, I did not see this coming. I did not see it coming where Andrew Dalton would take this team over. And then even when Jameis Winston is healthy, they go, nah, screw it.
Oh, I saw a path to this. Because Jameis is terrible.
mean,
do you not remember me saying this in the offseason? If Jameis Winston and Dennis Allen, they go together very poorly.
I do remember you saying that.
Those two seem to you're rowing. You're both rowing a boat. It just seems to be in opposite directions.
Mm-hmm. It was good to see the New Orleans Saints finally put some offense up this past week in their 24-0 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't really believe there's a lot of wins coming for this team. I mean, they'll be nice and right there in the mishmash that is the NFC South. But I don't feel like there's anything to be excited about for any of us.
No. I mean, look, I always fall back to who has the best quarterback. That's Tampa Bay by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the best coach?
It's not Tampa Bay.
I'm going non-applicable. I'm going not applicable.
No, it's Atlanta. It's Arthur Smith, and I don't think it's all that close.
Yeah.
I mean, New Orleans, you apparently have the dark advisor.
Sean Payton.
Wasn't that what Colin Greene was saying? Was that, or was it Tyler that was saying that? That Sean Payton showed up this week and gave a little spark to the team. Because it's not Dennis Allen.
No, he's terrible.
He's very milquetoast. And then Todd Bowles is awful. And Steve Wilkes, I mean, it's been fun, but this is not going to last. It's been a whale of a ride. Right, it's not going to last. This is not your leader going forward. You do that, and you're stepping right back into the Ron Rivera era. And but we went to a Super Bowl with Ron Rivera. Yeah, but do you remember how up and down those years were? Never had consecutive winning seasons.
Listen to Panther fans. That was the golden age.
It was.
No, I'm going to say it wasn't.
I mean, for Panther fans, sure it was. Was there another era of the Carolina Panthers that was better? No.
I would argue the Jake Delhomme era was better because it was at least consistent. Still ended with the same thing. You went to a Super Bowl and lost.
Yeah.
Hang the banner. Super Bowl losers. Let's go.
I got Tampa, they – and look, Tom has said over and over and over again, they will figure something out.
I
eventually.
Don't fully believe that there's a whole lot of difference here. I don't think there's a lot of difference between any of these teams.
No.
I don't think at this point Tampa Bay is that much better than anybody in this division, and I don't think Carolina – I think the difference between Carolina and Tampa Bay, which for me is the 1 and 4 in this division, I think they're closer than any set of teams in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is look at who Carolina still has to play. Just tell me where the wins are. And trust me, I see it in the chat. The Panthers are going to win the division. You play at the Bengals this week.
It's not going to go your way.
Good luck with that. Say you catch the Falcons at the Ravens. Really? You're honestly telling me you think you're going to win that? Broncos, Seahawks. Really? Steelers with TJ Watt.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Now, Tampa Bay, on the other hand, I think plays 3 college teams between now and the end of the year. I don't know how that keeps happening, and yet it does.
Well, I mean, because you got the Carolina Panthers on the schedule. I had to throw it out
at Sports Tank ESPN.
I know you've already beaten us. I get it. But do you honestly think it's going to happen again? Next to last game of the season, one of these teams is going to have hopes for winning this division. It's at least going to be in question at the end of the season. And I don't think it's going to be you. I feel like it'll be Tampa, and you are not going to like how that goes.
I'm already seeing this in the chat that we will beat the Bengals this week. Vegas has you as a 7.5-point dog. And I feel like the only reason
we were a 13-point dog to Tom Brady.
And I feel like the only reason it's that low is because we just watched Joe Burrow get his brains bashed in on Monday Night Football, and the Panther game was the last one in the window, so you saw how it ended. Say this out loud. You have P.J. Walker. They have Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Keep saying that, and eventually it will make sense.
Right. You can find a little spark here and there. But can you be consistent? And the one thing that Tom Brady has proven over his career is that at least he's consistent. I mean, he's coming off the worst stretch of his career ever. The divorce is final now. They're going to get a bye week coming up here after this week, I believe. And I just feel like there's a come to Jesus meeting there of like, this is the last ride, guys, and this is how we're going to do it.
Hey, here's the thing. If you could take the 4 teams of the NFC South and melt them into one team, that team would have a chance of being the 3rd best team in the NFC East. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
It's a little hyperbole, but it's fine.
Just go quarterback, go Tom Brady, Alvin Kamara, Falcons line. Who am I forgetting here? Oh, Panthers receivers. Ooh, sorry.
Ooh. I don't know if I'd go there.
Panthers didn't really have anything to control. Well, you know what? We'll go Panthers defense. You bring the defense, and we'll deal with the rest.
There you go. That's fair.
It's like it's like me at a cookout. Just bring the ice and plates. You are in charge of ice and plates
because we got the receivers. I mean it's not
absolutely
debatable. It's not debatable.
Yeah, absolutely. So we agreed on the winner of this division.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Saints finishing second. I had the Falcons. We just flip-flopped those two, and we both had Carolina finishing last.
Right.
Just outside of the top 5. I have them picking at 6. You have them picking at 6. I have them picking at 7. Which is good enough to get a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The draft is going to be fun tomorrow.
But who?
Little mock draft.
Yeah, but
no big deal.
But who is that quarterback?
In this draft class?
Yeah, who's the next class, that next tier after CJ and Bryce?
Oh, I'm not sure that CJ and Bryce won't.
You think Hendon Hooker has
Hendon Hooker's in the top 10, there's no doubt.
Well, I know, but I'm saying is he up to the top of the class?
He's the 4 right now. And I would say pretty comfortably. But where I was headed with that is I'm not so sure that CJ and Bryce are going to go as high as you think they will. As I could see a path where that Denver Broncos let's ride pick with Seattle, I can see that not being a quarterback. I can see them going, we have Geno Smith. We are just fine.
Just fine. So, I mean, I know Panther fans, Saints fans, you don't like it, but if you had to bet your house on it, are you really going against Tom Brady?
And it's for me, it's not so much that I believe in Brady. I believe that this division is not good. And I'm taking the best quarterback.
Mm-hmm. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We're going to stick with the South?
Yeah,
we'll do the AFC South coming up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We've got an accident now on New Leicester Highway traveling westbound at Mount Carmel Road. On the interstate, some delay in Waynesville now on 40 westbound from Crabtree Road towards 276. More delays continue in Waynesville on 40 eastbound around Vines Creek Road and also 276. I'm Tom Miter with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by News Nation. Chris Cuomo is back with a new show on a new network. Catch Cuomo weeknights on News Nation at 8 p.m. Eastern. To find News Nation on your television provider, go to newsnationnow.com/join us.
The midterms are here. With so much at stake, MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis to give you a greater understanding. Watch coverage of the 2022 midterms, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on MSNBC.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation and discreet shipping if prescribed. Love your results or your money back. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Qatar, here we come.
Christian's travel agency has one goal.
Talk to you soon.
The world's biggest soccer tourney.
The hotel is 7 miles from the stadium. Are you serious? Did you email the transportation company?
Now he needs an Arabic interpreter on his roster.
I don't speak it either.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch. The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can and kick ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
We are back in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, and if there's one division that I believe less in than the NFC South, it's the AFC South.
Yeah. I mean, I believe in a team.
There's one. You got one.
The Tennessee Titans.
That's right. The cream has risen to the top already in this division.
I have them winning this division by 5.5 games. You have them winning it by 8.5.
Uh-huh.
You have them winning this division to where they don't have to play anybody for the last month of the season.
Nope. There's no reason to. Just save Derrick Henry for the playoffs. Cause
you have the Titans going 13-4, which to me is one of the most mind-bogglingly insane things I think I've ever seen.
Insane?
Do you realize how many teams they have to beat to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're currently 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
You have them losing a whole 2 more games.
Yep.
They play the Chiefs this week.
Yep, that's one.
Which is going to be just shoe buddy.
Yep.
They're a 13.5-point dog.
Mm-hmm. Kansas City coming off a bye. I don't like your chances.
At the Packers, you play the Bengals, at the Eagles, and you play the Cowboys, who I don't believe in, but there's a lot of losable games. And I didn't even say at the Chargers because I didn't need them.
I got Kansas City and Philly. That's the only losses I have for them for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
You keep saying Green Bay like that's a thing. And, again, Tennessee plays Tampa Bay. Who you taking?
Tennessee plays Tampa Bay. Who am I? Where is it?
Neutral site.
Oh. We don't play neutral site games.
I know we don't. But I'm just, it doesn't matter.
You know who I'm taking in that game?
To me, it doesn't matter.
I'm putting my money in my pocket, and I'm going to leave this place because I don't want to play this game.
Because did you see what Derrick Henry just did to the Houston Texans? Because that's how much I believe Tampa can stop the run. He's going to have a 200-yard game against Tampa if he plays them. And I don't see a whole lot of difference between the Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just don't.
I don't either. And you have one of them winning the division, and the other one you're laughing at them losing or them beating the Titans.
At 8-9.
That's a fair enough point.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Fair enough point.
Tampa becomes the division winner with a losing record. We go right down in the history books with the Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks.
Look, to me, there are 2 definitives in this division. The Titans are going to win it, and the Jaguars and the Texans combined will be lucky to get to 6 wins.
Indeed.
Houston may be the worst defensive team I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacksonville's just a year away. Then you get the Colts that are in purgatory with a tie. That's, I didn't realize this in week 1 when they tied with the Texans. That's the most Indianapolis Colts thing that they could possibly have done.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe changing your offensive coordinator is going to make any difference. Frank Reich is still Frank Reich. And you have Sam Ehlinger as your quarterback.
For now. I'm not convinced that's a forever thing.
But then what are they going to do?
Nick Foles, I have no idea. But if that's what Frank Reich is hinging his job on, he wants to get fired.
Then
he's wanting to go full Steve Nash and just walk into Jim Irsay's office. Like, you either fire me or I just walk out of the building.
Mm-hmm. Rob Johnson says the Titans playbook is a halfback dive. Yep. And it doesn't matter. That's all you need.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not. Look, first of all, Derrick Henry keeps running at this rate. It's not going to matter because he won't be here for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. You said
I have them winning the division by a lot.
You said that last year.
And what happened? You went to the playoffs and beat.
And that's exactly what's going to happen to them again. I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl contender.
Oh, and you said I said that last year. Yeah, Derrick Henry missed 6 weeks.
But they still won. They still kept winning games.
Because they played 3 of their 6 games in that spell were against the Texans and the Jaguars.
Which is...
You're doing that thing where you can just make things say whatever you want them to.
That doesn't make this team good. That doesn't make this a 13-4. That was one of the more laughable things that's on this sheet in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee will be 9-8, 10-7, somewhere in that ballpark, because they're just flat out, they're not that good.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get after the quarterback. And when you do, it's very inconsistent, but you're drastically better than everybody else in this division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at the AFC and NFC South as that different. One of you, I believe in the coaching staff. One of you, I believe in the quarterback.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right. Okay. But we don't have any hopes for any other team in this division.
Well, I mean, miracles happen sometimes, and that is exactly what it would take. I mean, short of half the roster for the Tennessee Titans just disappearing, I don't see a path.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee's god-awful. Jacksonville's not much better. And Indianapolis is just you know what? I woke up this morning and said it was going to be nice. It's clunky.
It's clunky.
It's
Okay.
clunky.
All right. I guess that's fair. But I see the Titans being another top seed, not the top seed, but
You have them as the three in the AFC.
seed. I have them as
Which
the
to
three
me
seed.
is lunacy.
Who are they going to lose to?
I've already been over this once. Do you want me to repeat it? Did you not catch it the first time?
Oh,
At the Kansas City Chiefs.
You were serious about the Green Bay Packers.
I'm
though.
100%. Middle of November in Lambeau.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm 100% serious.
Okay.
Cincinnati Bengals. Who beats Cincinnati? Teams that can get home to Joe Burrow. Who gets smoked by Cincinnati? Teams that can't. And then, yeah, you end with the Jaguars twice, the Texans. I'm not saying there aren't wins there. I had them at 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
For me to look at this team and go, that's a 13-4 team. No, I can't get there.
You can't get there.
You will have a home playoff game. I don't think you're going to like who you're matched up against in it. But you'll have a home playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's – I don't think anybody's ever won their division and walked away like, oh, shucks.
Well, I mean, there are teams that have gone into the playoffs, winning their division, and get smoked. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, let me be real honest with you. The last time my team won a division, it was socially acceptable for me to pee in my pants. that wouldn't even be weird. It wouldn't even ruin somebody's day. Just like, oh, baby made a boom boom. It's fine.
I got news for you. No one would still be shocked.
You're not wrong.
All you got to do is go, fireball.
Yeah.
Oh,
17
yeah.
domestic lights. All big baby made a boom
I mean,
boom.
that's the path. That's the path you're going down of puking in an Uber or on an Uber. And
Not on
then
outside. I did it right. There's a funny story there, by the way, that I'll tell during the mock draft tomorrow.
Nice.
Somebody in the chat keep me honest on that. Remind me of that because I will totally forget.
All right, you are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. It's time to get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, Australia is home to, well, they're home to a lot of dangerous animals. Did you ever watch?
The dingo. I still know what that is.
Yeah, it's a dog.
Dog.
Dingoes stealing babies. You got. Did you ever watch Steve Irwin?
What do you think?
I'm just curious. The crocodile hunter seems like right down the line of the Tiger King.
No, the Tiger King was the white trash version of Steve Irwin, which is why I enjoyed it.
Ah, yes. I forgot. You got to have a little bit of that wonderful, what is it? The Wild
Whites of West Virginia.
Yeah,
here's the thing. You take anything that most of you like, add domestic lights to it, and now it is consumable for me.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, dangerous animals all over the place in Australia. You watch any of these National Geographic shows about the world's deadliest snakes, the world's deadliest spiders, it's always got, 6 out of the top 10 are all in Australia. Well, I mean, if quote-unquote integrity issues continue to happen at the Taronga Zoo in Sydney, you may have more than that to worry about. Apparently, an integrity issue with the lion enclosure led to 5 lions getting out. They had to send all of the staff to the safe zones to make sure that they weren't, met with a...
What is a safe zone in a tiger enclosure?
Not in the enclosure, in the zoo.
So what do they just have a cage? Where you just sit there and go, well, the lion's own the zoo now. Now we are the exhibit.
I'm sure they do. You better have a plan. If you're going to house these deadly animals, you got 5 to 10 lions in an enclosure. What happens if they get out? Well, we've got a plan for that. I'm sure everybody, they've got a plan for zombie apocalypses too.
Oddly enough, the owner of the zoo was reached for comment, and he said,
I am never going to financially recover from that.
Absolutely not.
That's the first time I've ever been able to use that button where it truly made sense.
Yeah, the good thing is that they were able to go to the safe zones and use basically tranquilizer snipers to be able to get the lions under control, get them back in their habitats. But I feel like once I've heard that, I could never go to this zoo again. Like, I've been to the Riverbank Zoo down in Columbia, South Carolina several times. If there was ever a story of, there was a hole in the fence and 6 tigers got out. Oh, I'm never going back there again.
Then that was the end of that.
Exactly. So anyway, 5 lions on the loose is never a good thing.
My story comes to us from Gainesville, Texas. I did not know there was a second Gainesville, and this story is really funny, if for nothing else, because it's the Texas version of where the University of Florida is. It's about Linda Hill. She's the owner of the Hill House Manor. It's a rental home that has apparently become very popular with fans of the paranormal. And she went on Jesse Waters Primetime, and she told a story that she was taking a shower when she heard someone say that she was looking good. Her response was, I thought it was my husband. I mean, he and I are the only ones in the house. However, it was not her husband. It was a ghost. And now she claims that the house is inhabited by a slew of ghosts, and many of them have a strange job. They're hookers. And according to her, they're looking to drum up business.
Not Hendon hookers.
Nope, not Hendon hookers. The pay by the hour type.
Yeah.
And her belief is that they're inhabiting this house because they're trying to drum up business. I swear to you, I'm not making this up. But they don't know how to make the transaction complete, so they give up and retreat to the attic to try to figure it out for tomorrow. That's the most Gainesville thing I've ever heard in my life. And now paranormal ghost hunters have shown up to this house to find the haunted heeber-jeebers of the Bunny Ranch. How do you say that out loud? Jesse Waters calls you and says, hey, you want to do an interview? Yep. What are you going to say? The most lunatic thing that comes to my head. Don't know. Making it up as I go along.
Right.
My house is inhabited by haunted ladies of the night.
That is quite funny.
She actually quipped that the good thing about a ghost like this is that, and I quote, you don't have to pay it.
Yeah.
How do you see? This is where
that reminds me of that one scene.
Legitimate journalists. I don't understand how you do this job and don't just laugh hysterically.
That reminds me of that one scene in Ghostbusters. And now, yes, Jeremy, we know you've never seen it.
I have never
seen it. But that one scene in Ghostbusters where Dan Aykroyd is in the library and the lady ghost starts taking off his pants. It was like, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that to show up in a ghost movie, but apparently down in Florida, they have a special kind of ghost.
There are no less than 7 University of Florida jokes I want to tell right here.
Most of them are very bad. So I'm going to say we should move on.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville's second half predictions for the NFL season. Roll on next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Pulling up into the 70s this weekend. The calendar says it's November, but boy, it feels like springtime here in Asheville. Some sprinkles up from the southwest tonight, low 44. Partly cloudy Thursday, warm, high 70 degrees and upper 60s near 70 Friday and through the weekend. Could even see some mid-70s early next week for Monday. If you're curious, records around 80 degrees for Asheville at the airport for early November. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We've got some brake lights this afternoon through Waynesville. We'll start with the eastbound side of 40, where traffic's a little crowded for us now around Fines Creek Road, all the way towards 276. Then on the westbound side of 40, some more brake lights between 209 Crabtree Road and 276 as well. Just watch for some stop-and-go conditions here. I'm Tom Miter with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips. Whatever you need, there's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
COVID vaccines just got a big update because updated vaccines now protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron, and everyone 5 and older can get one.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Are you ready to tackle your banking needs? Home Trust Bank's team of expert advisors and lenders want to be your teammate. We want to hear your story, learn your aspirations, and assist you with financial needs, and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all your banking needs under one roof with a local and personalized touch at Home Trust Bank. Score big with Home Trust Bank. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
It is the Sportsocracy, and the first half of the NFL season, hard to kind of figure. A lot of surprises that we didn't expect. But do we feel like the teams at the top so far are going to kind of remain the teams at the top? I think the answer to that is yes. I think by now you know.
In large part, yes. And there's one that you and I universally agree on, and it's the Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings, the leader in the clubhouse of the NFC North. And I don't think there's anything that's going to change it.
I don't either. I mean, look, I've said that I still believe in the Packers, and I'm going to be honest. I have the Packers making the playoffs. The Packers are my 7.
Really?
Which is funny because there's a team that doesn't make the playoffs that's going to upset some people.
Oh, 100%.
And I don't think it's that hard to figure out who it is.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That reaction is going to be quite fun.
It's fun.
once it hits the interwebs. The Minnesota Vikings, they're just the offense is hard to stop. And now it just got better with TJ Hawkinson. Gives Kirk Cousins another lethal weapon to use. And the defense is better than I thought they would be. I thought they would be much, not exactly like the Detroit Lions, but somewhere in that ballpark where the defense is still the big thing that's going to keep you from winning games and you're going to be right around 500 and you might sneak into the playoffs. But they're better than I thought they were. Kevin O'Connell's done a hell of a job with this team.
He has. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. You look around the defense, there are players that have stepped up. And I think a lot of this goes on O'Connell and the scheme. I thought they had a massive deficiency at certain positions on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at Patrick Peterson has been just phenomenal at times. Cameron Dantzler has had his moments. And you know what they have in common? They've been good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because that line has been really difficult to deal with. And the offense is scary.
Yeah.
Adding TJ Hawkinson, this offense is scary.
I have the Minnesota Vikings winning this division comfortably.
I can't figure out how they're supposed to lose more than 4 games.
Now, I have them at 13-4 to finish out the season, and that's even with giving them a weird win or giving them a weird loss.
I have them at 14-3 because I didn't give them a weird loss.
Yeah. Well, I had them losing to your Jets.
That's not a weird loss.
That is a weird loss.
It's a great Jets team. It's a great Jets team that I have with double-digit wins, and so do you.
I think that is a weird loss, but I think, they got the Buffalo Bills coming up in 2 weeks or week after next. And
it's in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's not going to go your way.
That won't be fun.
It's not going to go your way. But I got them beating Dallas and New England and Detroit and Indianapolis. I mean, you just look at this and go, this can't be serious. They've already been spotted the lead in the division, and the rest of the schedule goes, there's almost no way the Green Bay Packers can catch them.
No, and I mean, I believe in this team. I just have a funny feeling that it will be a really good regular season. Then they go into the playoffs. They catch a team with an elite number 1 corner, Jair Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I don't know what came over me there. And they lose to a team that just baffles you. Just absolutely baffles you.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins in primetime. They should be petitioning the league now. Can we play our playoff game at 10:30 in the morning?
Can we have it in London?
Do we have to show it on television? Is that like a rule?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, shoot.
It is a rule. We got the Green Bay Packers finishing in second place in the division.
And we're not that different on the record. You have them 9-8. I have them 10-7.
Yeah. I just don't feel like they're going to winnable many of their games coming down the stretch. I mean, it's going to be better than the start of the season because eventually they will figure something out. I mean, you can almost set your watch to Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, quarterbacks like that. They don't go quietly. They're not going to slink away. They'll find a way.
And you just look at, I mean, my thought on Green Bay, I understand it's been bad. I'm well aware of that. If you really look at how the schedule sets up, it's nicer than it looks. You still have Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau,
mm-hmm.
which has served to just be a house of horrors for many years. And this is where it starts to, a certain fan base starts to turn on me. You got the Lions this week. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
No.
I'm pretty sure that a high school team could score on the Detroit Lions. Now, you might not be able to stop them. Then you go Cowboys in Green Bay
mm-hmm.
in November.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win.
I got them losing that game.
Tennessee Titans in Lambeau in November. That's 3 straight wins. You'd be 6-5.
Mm-hmm.
Play the Eagles in Philadelphia, week of Thanksgiving. That's a loss. I see a path that you don't lose another game all year.
There is a path to that. And the way this schedule sets up, if this team catches momentum, you're going to regret it.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those times that when the big scary monster is battered, you better be sure that you bury it. Because there's a path that this team sneaks into the playoffs, and they have enough talent that they would be a headache, especially if they somehow wound up playing at home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think there's a path to that. But them getting in would be a headache, and I have them as the 7. You have them just missing the playoffs.
Just outside. They're just a bit outside of the playoffs for me. 9-8, not good enough to get you into the playoffs. And when it comes to my predictions, I got them losing 3 in a row. I got them losing 3 in a row and then running the table the rest of the season. Because I don't think those games are going to be easy by any stretch. And I'm not saying that you're saying they're going to be easy, but Dallas is very difficult to deal with. Tennessee's very difficult to deal with. I don't feel like you got a shot against the Philadelphia Eagles.
2 things I want to address in the comments. Bill Buttigieg, Jair Alexander has been god-awful. No, he hasn't. He's our 18th highest-rated corner in the NFL. Now, not the best run cover guy. Against the Buffalo Bills, how many receptions did Jair Alexander allow in man coverage?
3.
You want to hear it again?
None?
It was 0.
Really?
That was against Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. And Lisa Evansville said, being at Lambeau doesn't even matter anymore. Do me a favor. Take a trip there. Tell me that. It's not that the wind is blowing. It's what the wind is blowing. That's the best home field advantage in all sports. It's 6 degrees in November.
But it doesn't seem like it the way this season has panned out so far.
Because it's September.
Well, and I get it, but you've already lost to the New York Jets, the New York Giants,
and that's
home.
Fine. That's like going to a haunted house and saying, this is not that scary with the lights on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I forgot the Giants game was across the
That was
pond.
in London.
But the Jets game, I mean, I feel like there's still that stink.
Mm-hmm.
The people are not coming around to how good the Jets are and how good that defense is. And so when they see the Jets went into Lambeau and won that game, well, now it doesn't matter because this is not a quote unquote good historically speaking Green Bay Packers team.
There is a thing that I throw out on this show all the time. Where do I look for truth serum? Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know in the futures market how many games? The Green Bay Packers have 9 games left on the schedule. Do you know how many of them they're a dog in?
How many?
2. At the Eagles and at the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
End of message. Repeat the line. Vegas has gold fixtures for a reason. You can bury this team if you want to, and I'm not telling you I can give you some magical explanation of how this is going to happen. It's funny. I listened to Vegas last week. How'd that work out for me?
Yep.
I was 1 field goal away from being 11-3 or 11-3. Stupid Bengals. And that's exactly what I'm going to do for the rest of the year because every time I vary from that, bad things happen.
Yep.
Vegas believes in Green Bay more than the rest of us
do. The rest of the season will not go well for the Chicago Bears or the Detroit Lions.
Nope, because they are dreadfully terrible.
They are indeed. So, can Green Bay make the comeback and retake the lead in the division? I feel like Minnesota's too far ahead for that to happen, and the back end of their schedule is just easy enough to keep Green Bay out of reach. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll talk about the AFC North coming up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We've got some brake lights this afternoon through Waynesville. We'll start with the eastbound side of 40, where traffic's a little crowded for us now around Fines Creek Road, all the way towards 276. Then on the westbound side of 40, some more brake lights between 209 Crabtree Road and 276 as well. Just watch for some stop-and-go conditions here. I'm Tom Miter with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips. Whatever you need, there's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Did you hear about Taco Bell's apology? Yeah, they apologized for going too far with their breakfast. Like the naked egg taco and chicken biscuit nachos, it was too much. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food. Like the breakfast crunch wrap. Fluffy eggs, melty cheese, sausage, crispy hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Or, as some call it, a breakfast crunch thing. Grab one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. While supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation, which vary.
Repeat after me. I, Kevin, take you, Susan.
I, Kevin, take you, Susan.
It's Jamie from Progressive.
Jamie!
No, it's all right. I can talk. Progressive protects you 24/7, which means you can contact us anytime. I'm getting a loud shh sound, so I'm going to talk louder. What can I help you with today? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, Progressive can do that. Ugh, there's that noise again. Hold on. Let me put you on speaker.
Contact us 24/7 on the phone, online, or on the mobile app. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms.
This is Loyalty Lab Interview 6. Subject, grandmother's loyalty. Margie, what do you do when your grandson misbehaves?
Angels don't misbehave.
Here we study the most loyal, like you and... Oh, there goes the lamp.
Shouldn't have put it there.
Shell and the Fuel Rewards program has our members' backs, too. It's super easy to save on every gallon. Loyal, just like how you acted like that wasn't his fault.
Someone should clean that up before he gets hurt.
Yes, loyal, just like that.
10 years of FR.com. Terms and conditions apply.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
And we vehemently disagree on the Pittsburgh Steelers because I don't see them getting a whole lot better. I got them as a 5-win team.
Yeah, and I think they're better than that.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We have Sports Center coming up next, and we'll do the other half of the league. Second half predictions here on ESPN Asheville next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Pulling up into the 70s this weekend. The calendar says it's November, but boy, it feels like springtime here in Asheville. Some sprinkles up from the southwest tonight, low 44. Partly cloudy Thursday, warm, high 70 degrees and upper 60s near 70 Friday and through the weekend. Could even see some mid-70s early next week for Monday. If you're curious, records around 80 degrees for Asheville at the airport for early November. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
So we'll start off with some good news. No accidents to tell you about right now. No disabled vehicles on the interstate, so that's good news. We do have a little bit of some crowded traffic in Waynesville now on 40 westbound between 209 and 276. Just a heads up for a little bit of some delay here. Then on 240 westbound in Asheville, delays pretty heavy between Charlotte Street and Montfort Avenue. I'm Tom Miter with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by News Nation. Chris Cuomo is back with a new show on a new network. Catch Cuomo weeknights on News Nation at 8 p.m. Eastern. To find News Nation on your television provider, go to newsnationnow.com/join us.
Temperatures getting low but demand remaining high? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Washington Commanders released a statement today saying owner Dan Snyder has hired Bank of America to consider potential transactions involving the franchise. Asked if Snyder is considering selling the team, a spokesman said they're exploring all options. Snyder's ownership has come under increased pressure recently amid NFL and congressional investigations into the team's workplace culture and potential financial misconduct. If Snyder does indeed sell, the process will be quick, believes ESPN's Adam Schefter.
I think the NFL would have no problem fast-tracking this sale. So whatever it takes to get it done, it won't be an issue. The NFL can go make happen whatever it wants to. And with the fact that some owners want to see Dan Snyder removed, tells me that they can make this happen as quickly as they want to have it happen.
Browns say quarterback Deshaun Watson remains on track to start December 4th when his 11-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy ends. Kansas self-imposing a 4-game suspension for basketball head coach Bill Self and assistant Curtis Townsend as part of the fallout from a lengthy FBI investigation into college basketball corruption.
Halloween is over, but hiring is still a bit scary? Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Check. That's check. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And you are in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 here in the Ingles Studio. We're always live on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. You can tell us when there's audio issues going on with the feed on YouTube or whatever.
Do you know who I blame? It's the hooker ghosts.
It's the hooker ghosts. If you missed that's going to be worth going back onto the podcast and listening to.
So if you're watching on YouTube exclusively, apparently there is something with the software we use that they have a bug. They are working on fixing it. That is the second time it's happened in 2 days. So there's nothing I can do about it because for me it's real easy. I have a button. If that button is then we're
And Jeremy looks at me and goes, "What did you do?" And I went, "I didn't do anything."
Well, let's be
different.
okay. Let me just in theory. I've watched you trip over your own feet no less than 400 times.
Oh, 100%.
So horses, not zebras. There are 9,000 cords in this studio. I'm taking the path of least resistance.
Yeah, it could very well be. Anyway, we are doing the second half predictions of the NFL season. We did this in the preseason, and, I feel like we got some things right, got some things wrong, as you do in predictions.
Well, here's the thing. Two teams we were very high on in the preseason. Minnesota Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles.
That's right. Let's talk about the NFC East, because Jeremy, you and I had this conversation, and we felt it was gross when we did the preseason predictions that this is a team that could very well be on their way to 9-0. And now I'm looking at this team going, not only will they be 9-0, but it's hard for me to see them winning a game at all. So you know what? I went all in. 17-0, baby. 50 years after the Dolphins did it, this is the Philadelphia Eagles' chance.
That would be losing a game. They've already won a bunch of games. You said you can't see them winning a game. You mean
I can't see them losing a game? Yeah, I can't see them losing another game.
You have them as the 1 seed in the NFC at 17-0. I, on the other hand, I did not quite go that drastic, but I do have them at 15-2. And I feel like I gave them a loss that I had to get a little cute. Well, look, we said this in the preseason. This schedule is comically bad. If that's not the easiest schedule in the NFL, I don't know what is.
It is. All of the metrics that you can look up, strength of schedule, strength of record, whatever you want to look at, Philadelphia Eagles are bottom of the barrel. And they've done their job so far, winning every game. And going forward, I mean, if they're going to lose a game, maybe they trip up against this resurgent Green Bay Packers team that Jeremy believes in so much.
But I don't even have them losing that game.
But I don't see it happening. The Tennessee Titans. I'm going to stack the box with my terrifying defensive line, dare Derrick Henry to do something about it, and then we'll see, because I don't think against two of the best corners in the entire league you're going to do anything passing the ball, whoever your quarterback is at that moment, whether it be Ryan Tannehill with the sniffles again or Malik Willis.
Please not Malik Willis.
No.
Anybody but Malik Willis.
Dallas Cowboys fans, I know you're all super excited, like you're going to get your shot at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Them Cowboys!
Oh, we played them tough. Yeah.
No, you didn't. You didn't. I mean,
they came back and made it a game.
And here's look. This is one of those things that I do because we watch sports for a living. So I watch a lot of football. If you watched that game and your takeaway was, well, we played them close, there are 3 explanations for that. One, you didn't actually watch it. You saw it on SportsCenter and you looked at the box score. 2, you have Dallas Cowboy colored pew glasses on. Or 3, I don't have a 3. I built this up to 3, and I don't really have one of those because I can't figure out how anybody saw that.
Right. I don't know where the losses are gonna come in. So I will be the idiot that stands here and goes, "Watch out, Miami Dolphins," because this may be the closest the team's come since the Patriots lost in the Super Bowl.
And now I said in the last hour that there was a team in the league that I have a sweeping declaration on, and it's going to upset some of you. And it's in this division, the NFC East, because I have the Philadelphia Eagles going 15-2. I also have the Commanders going 8-9, the Giants going 12-5. Look at the schedule. I saw you laugh. Yeah, I saw your derision. A lot of Lions on that schedule. That's all I'm telling you. And then there's the sweeping declaration. I don't have the Dallas Cowboys making the playoffs.
And I don't get it. Like, what else do they need to do to show you that this is a team that is going to play teams close? They're going to win games.
Beat a team with a living, breathing pulse. That would be great. I mean, this is I did this by accident yesterday. They are the Cincinnati Bearcats of last year. It's wonderful that you can just beat the dregs of football. I don't fully believe this team's good, and I never have. Because say it out loud. What does this team do well?
Run the football.
But do they, though? Because Ezekiel Elliott has not been effective at all. They run it a lot. They do not necessarily run it effectively. There is a huge difference between the two.
Well, one of them runs it effectively. The other one is the bruiser.
And ask yourself the question of, he's been on this roster for 4 years. They refuse to give him more than 12 carries a game unless he's the only living, breathing running back on the roster. Why? Do you think he's got pictures of Kellen Moore in a Santa outfit and he's embarrassed by it? No, that doesn't make a lot of sense. They don't think he can hold up to it.
Tony Pollard is the most explosive runner they have. The problem is,
no doubt,
he's not a protector of the quarterback like Ezekiel Elliott is.
Absolutely, and Ezekiel Elliott is an elite pass blocker, which is why he still has a job in this league.
And that's why he gets the majority of the tote. They're gonna pound you with him, and then hit. Tony Pollard will come in and he'll hit those big ones. I mean, he averages. What, like 7 yards a carry or something, 6 yards a carry?
And now here's my question. All right, and I'm sure that somebody's going, well, you just hate the Cowboys. No, I don't. I'm an objective observer. You're not. That's where the discrepancy falls in. You think I'm being a hater. I'm looking at a team that has beaten 5 of the, I'll say, 11 worst teams in the NFL, and you have a win against the Bengals that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And you just figured out they can't block Micah Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
They just lost to a Browns team with Myles Garrett that doesn't throw hardly at all and lost both of their top 2 corners. Yeah, I'm not overly impressed by that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just not. And in the next 3 weeks, you play at the Packers, at the Vikings, and the Giants. Now, you come through that, now maybe my tune will change.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're going to.
I think they will. I think they will come through that. They'll be looking just fine. And, I mean...
Because I'll be honest with you, I have them losing all 3 of those games.
Okay.
This is how I got to the record I got to. They're 6-2. They lose all 3 of those at the Packers, at the Vikings, Giants. Beat the Colts, beat the Texans, win at the Jaguars. Lose to the Eagles and Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to lose to I don't care if that game's in Philly. I don't care if it's in Dallas.
Absolutely.
I don't care if it's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and the Phillies and the Eagles don't have swimmies. I don't care where you play this game. They're going to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see you going into Tennessee and beating the Tennessee Titans.
Right.
You can win one way. I hate that you didn't do something at the deadline. I didn't crush you for it yesterday because, well, I was trying to be nice. CeeDee Lamb is a much better 2 than he is a 1. Not saying he can't be a 1. He's back in 1. He's fine.
Agreed.
Michael Gallup's a 3, masquerading as a 2, and you don't have any other weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe in Dak Prescott the way this is situated.
Yeah.
And defensively, the next time you tell me the Dallas Cowboys are good defensively, I will probably just laugh out loud. That's going to be my response from here on out. Well, they're good defensively. You gave up almost 400 yards to a Bears team that can't throw. Well, but we beat them by 1,000. I don't care. If you're that good defensively, they don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you teams saw exactly what I saw with Dallas of all we have to do is somewhat confuse you. I fully believe a week from now, Aaron Rodgers, with them coming off a bye, is going to toy with them. But he doesn't have good receivers. That's fine. They have one reasonably good corner. I don't need to be great at receiver. I need to manipulate you. I saw it with Chicago. I watched every play of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back trying to figure out how in the world did Justin Fields do this? Oh, I get it. Because you trust exactly what your eyes see. And so whatever I throw at you, I throw a little eye candy at you, you're going to fall for it every single time. That is the problem of being overly aggressive. What does that tend to lead to? Good, smart quarterbacks that can keep themselves upright are going to beat you. And you play a lot of those.
Right. I have them losing to the Minnesota Vikings. I have them losing to the Titans.
You and I are not as far off on the Cowboys as it. I guess I'm making it sound. You have them at 12-5.
Yeah, they're 12-5 and the 5 seed in the playoffs.
I think you have them beating the Giants and maybe the Titans.
I had them beating the Giants and I got them beating the Packers.
Oh yeah, they're not going to land on beating the Packers.
Okay, I mean we will see. Time will tell. But this team wins ugly, and it doesn't have to look good.
And that's all well and good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go down a rabbit hole. I'm glad you said it that way.
Okay.
Because there's another team that you and I disagree on that they win ugly too.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to tell me what Dallas does better than the team that I'm getting ready to mention.
Okay.
The Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Who runs it better?
It'll be Tennessee.
Not close. Who's better in the secondary?
Yeah,
it's Tennessee and it's not close. Who's better in the front seven?
Yeah,
it's Tennessee
Dallas.
and it's not close.
Really?
Micah Parsons, end of message, repeat the line. I go Jeffrey Simmons, Bud Dupree. Who's your two? Leighton Vander Esch, the ghost of DeMarcus Lawrence? Okay, that's fine. I have never in my life – I've been doing this for quite some time with the NFL. Now, I did a lot of things with the draft before I did this. I've never in my life seen a team defensively that had one player that could hold up throughout the year. And ask yourself this. If Micah Parsons stepped on a rock or something tomorrow and did not play another game, how bad is this team?
Oh,
defensively, how bad are they immediately?
I mean, they're worse than they were last year.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. This is not that hard to figure out.
No.
I mean, you could get lost in eye candy all you want to, and I'm not blaming you. I would say most people would have them at 12-5 because everybody's jumped off the Aaron Rodgers bandwagon. I have one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL with one of the most overly aggressive defenses because they have to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dirty little secret that nobody wants to talk about. So then you get into the cold times.
Right.
You ever notice Dak Prescott's not even a serviceable NFL quarterback when it gets cold? So now I can load up 7 in the box. If I have a corner to deal with CeeDee Lamb, how do you move the ball on me?
Mm-hmm.
I'll beat you 6-3. I don't care what the score is. Dallas has to beat you one specific way. They've done it to bad teams. Wait till they start playing good ones.
Yep. I have said about this team that I feel like people are too high on them because of their overinflated record right now.
And because of the star on the helmet.
But I'm actually starting to believe it. I'm actually starting to believe that this team is as competitive as they have shown, and they'll be able to hold up the rest of the way. Maybe I'm wrong in that, but we'll see. When they play elite offenses, they're not going to win those games.
Nope.
But they don't have a lot of that on the schedule.
And I'm going to ask you one more question. We got off on a super Cowboys tangent with this division. The Giants play the worst schedule I've ever seen. They're going to win a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
You have them winning 11. I got them winning 12.
Mm-hmm.
And the Commanders are better than you think. Ask yourself this question. Did you notice the longer Dan Quinn was in Atlanta, the easier it was to beat his defenses?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is? He never had a Micah Parsons, I will give you that, because it's incredibly predictable. It is incredibly predictable. There's a reason that high-end NFL coordinators don't play defense that way. There's a reason he did not get a job in the last hiring cycle. Because when you really break this down, outside of your one generational pass rusher, you don't have much. And when you go up against Jared Goff, that works. When you go up against Aaron Rodgers, not so much.
All right, so second half of the season could be volatile for the Dallas Cowboys. I got a little bit more faith in Jeremy. I still got him being in the playoffs. I got him being a higher seed than the New York Giants. Maybe that's just my own fault. The Washington Commanders, on the other hand, they have none of my confidence. I don't think they win another game.
I feel like, we got away from doing show wagers. I feel like there's a show wager in that one. Because you have them at 4-13, and I have them at 8-9.
I do. I got them at 4-13. Not another win for the Washington Commanders. It's just I always have my teams that I hate, one year to the next. Last year it was the Las Vegas Raiders. This year, Washington Commanders.
And last year the Raiders made the playoffs, and
Yep.
I'll be honest with you, I think the Commanders are closer to that than what he just said.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We will hit the other East, the AFC East, coming up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
40 westbound, a little slow now between 209 and 276. Watch for some brake lights here in Waynesville. Then in Asheville, more delays continue on 240 westbound, right around Charlotte Street towards Montford Avenue. No delays to tell you about right now in 26 in either direction around Long Shoals Road and also 191. I'm Tom Miter with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by News Nation. Chris Cuomo is back with a new show on a new network. Catch Cuomo weeknights on News Nation at 8 p.m. Eastern. To find News Nation on your television provider, go to newsnationnow.com/join us.
Hey folks, DG here. Y'all know I've always loved the slogan, Smiles Change Lives, which I first heard years ago from Dr. Rebecca Merrill of Asheville Smiles. I hope you will live that slogan here in 2022. Whether it's just time for a routine cleaning, you want to learn more about Invisalign, a great alternative to braces, you need a diagnosis and treatment plan, or if you don't have dental insurance, you just want to learn more about her special membership plans. 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
The midterms are here. With so much at stake, MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis to give you a greater understanding. Watch coverage of the 2022 midterms, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on MSNBC.
Hey, this is Peter Schrager from the NFL Network's morning show, Good Morning Football. You've also seen me on NFL Sidelines and in studio for Fox Sports on Sunday. Well, I've got a new podcast with iHeart in the NFL, and we're calling it The Season with Peter Schrager. In each episode of this season, I'm going to empty my proverbial notebook and take you inside and behind the scenes on the conversations that happen at the highest levels of NFL franchises. Listen to The Season with Peter Schrager on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Ahoy, matey! At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety, from your local catch to flavors from around the world. Wild sashimi tuna, Charleston crab cakes, mountains of shrimp, bourbon salmon, wild mahi-mahi with mango salsa. It's enough to make any salty sea captain ready to set a course for the bounteous treasure of the Ingles Seafood Department. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices, love the savings.
Are you ready to tackle your banking needs? Home Trust Bank's team of expert advisors and lenders want to be your teammate. We want to hear your story, learn your aspirations, and assist you with financial needs, and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all your banking needs under one roof with a local and personalized touch at Home Trust Bank. Score big with Home Trust Bank. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cott?
And doing second half of the NFL season predictions today in the Sportsocracy. Be sure to follow us on all of the social medias at the Sportsocracy. Get with us on YouTube as well. Subscribe to the channel. You can jump into the chat here. And Patrick Holt's not happy with me.
He shouldn't be.
Hush your mouth, Tank.
He shouldn't be.
Find a new coach. Find a new coach. I'm holding I hold grudges like nobody's business. Ron Rivera has trashed my Antonio Gibson all year long. And I'm not. It's the unforgivable curse. It's the unforgivable curse. No more wins for you. It is decided.
Over.
You're probably right, because I even had them losing to the Houston Texans.
Yep,
just
which
out of
is
spite.
that is spite.
Screw you guys.
That's why you should never wager.
And I don't.
You go to the window. Georgia plus 18 against Tennessee. Taking it. Go Bulldogs.
Do it. Plus 18? You giving me 18?
Oh, I said that backwards.
Yeah. You giving me 18?
I was too worried about making fun of you. That was really the only point.
The AFC East ruled by the Buffalo Bills, and that will not change.
We both have them 15-2.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where we have a slight discrepancy, we both have a team from this division making the playoffs. You have one. I have two.
You have two more making the playoffs.
I have three teams from the AFC East making the playoffs.
Okay.
We both have the Dolphins making it.
Yep.
Me is the 7, you is the 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the Jets.
Of course you do.
Which is, the ironic part of that is I'm not the homer here. I've been harder on this team than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing about that team that sticks out to me. When it gets cold, what travels well?
Defense.
I have 3 corners in the top 15 of the NFL. I get after quarterbacks easily.
Mm-hmm.
I have a funny feeling. You won't see it this week, but through the bye week, just things I've heard. That Jets offense is going to look like it fell out of about 1986 very, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And you go down the schedule and just go, okay, so Seattle. Is Geno Smith really going to throw on Ahmad Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed? Look at the matchups.
No, I don't believe they will.
Do you think they're going to be able to run because nobody else has? And look, I like Kenny Walker just as much as anybody else. The Jets are differently able to match up with it. Now, they would go into the playoffs and get slaughtered. But the back half of that schedule is so much easier than the front half.
Mm-hmm. Looking at that trip to New England, I know you want revenge and all the, we've circled this on the schedule. Well, that didn't go your way the first time. And I have a hard time believing that you're going to go to Foxborough and get them in their house.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't. Yeah, you say it didn't go our way. I've watched every play now twice.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to know what they did that the Jets didn't? They didn't turn the ball over.
Right.
Zach Wilson could have thrown it into the ground on virtually half of his snaps. They would still have won. That's one of those coin flip games that, you lost. I could very easily see the next one being the same way.
Yep. You get the Bills this week. The Bills at their house. I don't feel like you got it to go.
I don't either, but I think 13.5 is too much.
Oh,
13.5 is a disrespectful number.
Well, I mean but that's who the Buffalo Bills are.
Oh, I know why they're doing it.
They're just disrespectful to everyone.
Oh, I know why they're doing it. They're trying to bait Jet fans. I just think you might have set it too high.
Mm-hmm.
You could have baited Jet fans at 10.5. I think 13.5. You went too far.
You got a lot of winnable games on the schedule. There's no doubt about it.
And now, in fairness, you have them 10-7. I have them 11-6.
Right, I got you 10-7, and the thing that came down to for me was the final game. The final game decides who goes to the playoffs. It's either you or the Miami Dolphins, and you got to go to Miami for that game. And I know you said that when I said this earlier, you said, well, we travel pretty well to Miami. We like getting them in their own house. Okay. Everything on the line, I will give them Jason Sanders field goal.
And I'll be honest
with
you. The only thing that I changed after I got done with this and reassessed, the Jets were already in the playoffs by the time they played Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Miami beating them that last game.
Yep. Miami's offense has been really good. I think they will win a lot of games, just as you will. And it'll come down to that last game of the season. And if you can get them, good for you. You're going to the playoffs. I'm not sliding your team by any stretch.
The thing
and I was surprised that I ended up with the New England Patriots in the hunt as well at 9-8.
And that's I'm glad you said it that way. After we did this, the one thing that I noticed, we over-exaggerated how good the AFC was. It's separated. That's the best way to explain it, because you and I both have 10-ish, depending on what you consider, in the hunt teams. That's it. There will be 2 or 3 teams that miss the playoffs that you go, oh, well, they were almost a playoff team, and it's the Browns and the Patriots. I have the Bengals missing the playoffs, but it's because of the schedule. That schedule is gross.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I think there are 9 legitimate playoff-level teams in the AFC. I did not expect the Jets to be one of them, but they certainly are.
All right, it's time for the most important message of the day, Jeremy. Which is always...
Don't do crimes!
Don't do crimes. And Halloween is... Well, you know, something weird's always going to happen on Halloween in your city. It just depends on whether or not it's going to wind up in some news outlet, and we hear about it. When that's exactly what happened in Baltimore, or in the Baltimore area. I don't think this is in Baltimore proper, but this was in Anne Arundel County, where a woman was arrested Monday after there was a disturbance during the trick-or-treating festivities on her street of 2nd Avenue in Edgewater, right outside of Baltimore. Because I don't know what happened, we don't know the scenario, but she apparently lost her patience with the trick-or-treaters and started getting a little inappropriate. Apparently the police were called when this woman, her name Wendy Kazarek, where she started screaming at the children while she was holding out candy and then went, you know what, you're not listening to me, so check this out, and exposed herself to the kiddies.
Don't do that.
No, ma'am. That's not how we do things here. And then the fun did not end there. I mean, that story is over and done. She's been charged, and that's not going to go well for her. But there was another viral video going around on the interwebs where an adult woman dressed as a barmaid was caught on one of those Ring doorbell cameras walking up to a house that had 2 giant buckets of candy on the front porch, and she decided just to help herself to all of them. And it's surprising. You would expect kids to do that. Like, you would expect teenagers to do that. You wouldn't expect, like, a 45-year-old woman to go to a house and just go, yep, these are mine now, and dump both bins of candy into her own bag and then just walk off.
I also don't see where the crime is in that.
That's stealing.
But you set the candy out.
For the children. It's not intended for you. That's ill-gotten gains, and that's property by false pretense. I don't care.
It's crimes. Not, though. I mean, look, I didn't go to law school, but I did grow up with a grandfather that loved Perry Mason. Look, I think I could defend that one.
We can't criminally charge her with anything because you did leave it out there, and it is, you know, it's Halloween. You're inviting people to come up onto your property. It's not trespassing or anything. The candy was free, so it's not stealing.
Free candy!
But I will just say this. There is a very special spot in a very warm place waiting for the woman who ruined Halloween for all the trick-or-treaters that followed her to that house.
So I slightly panicked when you said that because my story is also from Baltimore.
Oh, nice.
Baltimore family, they ordered a prop casket for a Halloween party.
Okay.
As you do.
I like where this is going.
That's what you dress up the house. They were having a Halloween party, so they went to Facebook Marketplace, and they ordered a prop casket. I already have a question. What is the difference between a prop casket and a real one? Because I'm looking at this going, I don't actually see a difference. They look exactly the same. I mean, this looks like a casket that you would bury somebody in.
Okay.
And that becomes very relevant here in just a minute. Because when they got the casket, they didn't open it. They just, hey, it's a little light, throw it in the car, take it home. Well, when they got it home, they discovered that there were a few items underneath some cardboard in the prop casket. Included a photograph of a 74-year-old woman. That's weird. Her death certificate. Her social security number, the George Washington University hospital bracelet she wore, and an urn full of her.
Oh.
They got a little more than they asked for when they asked for a Halloween decoration. How does that happen?
I don't know.
I feel like this is one of the stories that's going to be unwound of, somebody on TikTok was lying, because we did one of those stories a few weeks ago. How do you forget somebody's in a... First of all, why would you put them in a prop casket? How macabre are you? Like, oh, look, we put Granny in a casket.
Macabre?
Macabre.
It's like Brett Favre?
Favre.
Yeah, that's weird.
How macabre are you? Yeah, it's the right thing, though.
Yeah. Casket stories are always fun.
And maybe don't buy caskets on Facebook Marketplace. Why are you buying anything on Facebook Marketplace?
Because it's cheap.
I knew the answer to that before I asked
Because it's cheap.
You're the kind of person that does that.
100%.
You've been walking around here.
I bought 2 couches on Facebook Marketplace.
You've been walking around here in new sets of joggers. You got those on Facebook Marketplace, didn't you?
I know. They were hand-me-downs from somebody.
Well, that makes the joke that I was going to tell a lot less funny, so we'll move on.
Yeah. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We got the West divisions to go over, plus we'll give you our playoff picks for the second half of the NFL season.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Pulling up into the 70s this weekend. The calendar says it's November, but boy, it feels like springtime here in Asheville. Some sprinkles up from the southwest tonight, low 44. Partly cloudy Thursday, warm, high 70 degrees and upper 60s near 70 Friday and through the weekend. Could even see some mid-70s early next week for Monday. If you're curious, records around 80 degrees for Asheville at the airport for early November. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Some delay right now in Waynesville on 40 westbound from Crabtree Road all the way towards 276. Definitely seeing brake lights here. Westbound side of 240 a little slow in Asheville from Charlotte Street over towards 19. More delays continue now on 40 westbound between 26 and 19 as well. Making our way here through Asheville, a little extra crowded. I'm Tom Miter with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by News Nation. Chris Cuomo is back with a new show on a new network. Catch Cuomo weeknights on News Nation at 8 p.m. Eastern. To find News Nation on your television provider, go to newsnationnow.com/join us.
COVID vaccines just got a big update because updated vaccines now protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron, and everyone 5 and older can get one.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's week 1 of the high school football playoffs in the Buncombe County Game of the Week, and we've got AC Reynolds hosting A.L. Brown. The Wonders will be coming up from Kannapolis to take on a Rocket team that finished the conference season undefeated and ready for the postseason. Sports Tank Friday gets us started at 6:30. Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff shows at 7. On AM 1400, Tuscola is at home hosting Forest View. The Mountaineers look to bounce back after the loss to West Henderson. Cowboy John Roten and the gang get you started at 7. The best high school football coverage is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. And it's time to talk about the West divisions. Let's start off in the AFC West. Jeremy, as...
It's a lot more palatable to talk about.
It's very true. Very true. The Kansas City Chiefs... Remember all that talk at the preseason about how there's no Tyreek Hill, and now this team's just going to take a major step back.
About that,
are we feeling a little silly about all of that talk?
About that, yeah, they're not. They still have Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Do they have just a slew of receivers, and now they've added another one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then they're going to be just fine.
Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, they're back in. I mean, they're right back in the thick of the Super Bowl talk.
And the thing about Kansas City is, if you look at their schedule, it looked so daunting at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And now you look at it and go, "Is it though? Is it though? Is that?"
Well, you look at the games that they've already played. I mean, they had the Chargers in the second week of the season. And then they had the Colts, who we thought was going to be good. Now, they did lose that game still, weirdly enough. Then they had Tampa in week 3, Vegas in week 4. Vegas has turned out to be dog water. Tampa Bay ain't much better. They're just finding ways to win games.
They don't tend to blow teams out, and they're not as balanced as I would like them to be. This is a lot of the Pat Mahomes show.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Pacheco gets more involved as the season goes on. You got to remember he was a rookie running back coming out of Rutgers that didn't necessarily have the whole arsenal of running back moves, and now they're basically turning him and Clyde Edwards-Helaire into one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Use one in the passing downs, one in the running downs, we'll be fine. And the defense has just been better than I thought it would be. I still don't think it's great. They give up a ton of yards, but they're always going to.
Mm-hmm.
When you go up and down the field like this, you're going to give up yards. There's no way away from that. But they get timely stops. They've gotten drastically better cornerback play than I expected, especially out of a bunch of young guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I never thought there would be a path where they would look at Rashad Fenton and go, "You're an extra piece. We can deal you away." And now with the struggles of the Raiders and the Broncos, I feel like this is just a cakewalk for them to walk to the division, even if they lost to the Chargers. I still feel like you walk to the division.
And the Chargers aren't dead. I've got them making the playoffs. I've got them at 10-7, finishing the year strong. Already saw in the chat, fantasy owners of Keenan Allen are upset because he's not going to be healthy for this game coming up this week.
Yes, the fact that Keenan Allen's 2-week injury has turned into a month and a half.
Right.
Who's shocked?
You thought he'd be ready to go after the bye, but apparently that's not the case. And now you got to take on the Kansas City Chiefs coming up in a couple of weeks, and maybe you got a shot to win that game if your weapons are back and healthy.
Well, I mean, it's Josh Palmer season. It's fine. This is what we've been waiting for quite some time.
And the defense has been a disappointment.
We see this very similarly. You have Kansas City as the 2 in the AFC, as do I. I have them as the 5. I think they end up being the highest wild card.
The Chargers?
Yes.
Wow.
I have them at 11-6 as the highest wild card.
Okay.
And you have them at 7.
Mm-hmm. I got them just barely getting into the playoffs. They're amongst that Dolphins, Jets, Chargers 10-7 group. I'm just having a hard time believing. I'm having a hard time believing between, Brandon Staley. I had all the faith in the world that he would take the second-year step and not make so many mistakes and all of that, and he's still showing some proclivities to make boneheaded moves at the end of games. Like I said, the defense is star-studded. You can't argue with it on paper, but they're the same damn defense they were last year, which is baffling to me.
And I think we overvalued that many pieces that it would take a minute to put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
This week will be very telling to me. Because, and I said this yesterday, this sets up as the trappiest of trap games. 1 o'clock, West Coast team coming east. Those don't tend to go well.
No, they don't.
And for some reason, I feel like the Chargers are going to blow the Falcons out. Not healthy. None of that really matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the Jaguar game away, just act like it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 losses to the Kansas City Chiefs, close, and you had every opportunity to win it. You just threw a very untimely interception that went back to the house.
Right.
And you lost to the Seahawks, who were the division leader of the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't look as bad as everybody's making this sound. And I understand that, well, we have some coaching issues. Well, a lot of teams do.
Right.
And you take away Joey Bosa, it's pretty easy for a lot of teams to look ordinary.
Mm-hmm. And those aren't the games that I'm worried about. I'm worried about you going to San Francisco. I know that's a team that's wishy-washy, but after the Christian McCaffrey experience that was this past week, I got a lot of hopes for that team.
Yeah, they lost that. In mine, they lost that. They still go 11-6 because, and then
Kansas City Chiefs,
and then
I got them losing to the Dolphins.
I don't have them.
That's
going to
hurt you without J.C. Jackson,
who had been the worst corner in the NFL.
Which
literally not deniable. There is no
true.
metric that you can take where he had not been dreadfully bad.
Mm-hmm. I just don't feel like that's a game that they're going to be able to win.
I do.
You'll get outscored in that game, I feel like, because Miami's a team that travels well. We know how
that's all well and good.
And we know how that stadium goes when teams that travel well play there. And I got you losing to the Tennessee Titans because you still struggle with the run.
That's the 2 games you have them losing at home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
I understand you've lost to it. I get that. You don't have a real home field advantage. I understand that. At the end of the day, I still have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. When this team is healthy, I still believe they are phenomenally talented.
Yep.
And we're holding a lot of things against a team that is just absolutely killed. For whatever reason, we don't do that with Baltimore, but we do it with the Chargers. Is it solely because you trust John Harbaugh and you don't trust Brandon Staley? Because that's the only thing that makes any sense to me.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I guess I can get down with that. I go back to what I said of outside of that top 9 teams. Who do you really believe in?
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to tell me that New England Patriots are making the playoffs over the Chargers? That's a hard sell to me.
No.
The Cleveland Browns.
No.
Those are my 9 and 10. So as you want to say it's Cincinnati? Okay. You're going to have to explain to me how they're going to beat that schedule with Jonah Williams playing left tackle. I'm not saying I have a great amount of belief in them. I mean, I do, but I think this is a wild card team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a wild card team. I think they take a step. I think this is going to look like a markedly different team this week. And maybe that's a blind faith in a take that I don't want to tap out on.
Right.
It's just a hill I want to die on.
Right. Can the Las Vegas Raiders turn anything around, salvage the rest of this season? I think they can.
I don't know.
I think they can. I got them finishing 7-10. They're not going to make the playoffs. They won't even threaten to make the playoffs.
I have them 5-12.
But I still have belief that they will figure out something. And maybe it gets so bad that they just fire Josh McDaniel and they get the bump that they got last year.
Not happening. It's not happening. He's not going anywhere. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just telling you he's not going to.
Okay.
They have a bunch of toss-up games with teams that I think are better coached than you. I haven't beaten the Broncos, losing to the Colts, losing to the Chargers, losing to the Seahawks, losing to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
This is just not a well-coached team.
Yep. And then the Denver Broncos, who are bad.
And they can't figure out what they are. Hey, we're still competitive, but we just traded our best pass rusher. Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty then.
The NFC West. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll talk about the NFC West and give you our playoff picks
for the season.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Some delay right now in Waynesville on 40 westbound from Crabtree Road all the way towards 276. Definitely seeing brake lights here. Westbound side of 240 a little slow in Asheville from Charlotte Street over towards 19. More delays continue now on 40 westbound between 26 and 19 as well. Making our way here through Asheville, a little extra crowded. I'm Tom Miter with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. Wendy's Biggie Bag is still just $5. Get a double-stack junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken BLT plus 4-piece nugs, small fries, and a small drink. Grab your bag at Wendy's today. Includes choice of double-stack JBC or crispy chicken BLT with 4-piece nugs, small drink, and fries. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
It's the giving season, and only the free iHeartRadio app gives you the live radio, music, and podcasts you love, all for free. Did you get that? You pay absolutely nothing to listen to your favorite radio stations anywhere, anytime on the iHeartRadio app. And you know what else? Sharing is caring. And with one tap, you can share what you're listening to with anyone, so they can listen for free too.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Download the free iHeartRadio app for all of your music, radio, and podcasts.
With Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you'll find top brand kitchen appliances with innovative features that can do more, so your holidays can be more. Ovens with built-in air fryers for baking the perfect cookies. Dishwashers with smart tech to clean everything from bakeware to festive mugs. And high-capacity refrigerators to keep leftovers fresh. Shop Black Friday savings and get up to 30% off, plus instantly save up to $750 on select GE kitchen packages at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid November 2nd through November 30th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
COVID vaccines just got a big update because updated vaccines now protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron, and everyone 5 and older can get one.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Are you ready to tackle your banking needs? Home Trust Bank's team of expert advisors and lenders want to be your teammate. We want to hear your story, learn your aspirations, and assist you with financial needs, and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all your banking needs under one roof with a local and personalized touch at Home Trust Bank. Score big with Home Trust Bank. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Ahoy, matey! At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety, from your local catch to flavors from around the world. Wild sashimi tuna, Charleston crab cakes, mountains of shrimp, bourbon salmon, wild mahi-mahi with mango salsa. It's enough to make any salty sea captain ready to set a course for the bounteous treasure of the Ingles Seafood Department. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
You are a regular nuclear meltdown. You better cool off.
It's the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We began the show today talking about Daniel Snyder making arrangements with Bank of America to sell the team. Just got the alert from ESPN on my phone, too, that now federal prosecutors have opened an investigation into financial improprieties by Daniel Snyder's Washington Football Organization. So, yep, sale coming your way soon.
Things don't appear to be going his way.
Nope. Already facing state investigations and now a federal investigation into those improprieties. So we'll see where that leads. We are in the middle of our second half projections, actually at the end of our second half projections for the NFL season. Talking about the final division here, the NFC West. Currently led by the Seattle Seahawks. I have to say it that way because it feels wrong.
The words all make sense, and then you put them together, and they sound weird.
Yep. But here again, we got Pete Carroll. He's a hell of a coach. He has gotten the most out of Geno Smith that anybody ever thought Geno Smith had.
And then some.
Exactly.
And the question is, will they be able to continue it through the rest of the season and maintain the lead in the division?
And we both have the same answer.
No.
No to the division, but yes to they're going to make the playoffs.
They will.
I have them as the 6. You have them as the 7.
Mm-hmm. I got them at 10-7 at the end of the year. And look, I said it yesterday. I don't understand it. It still feels gross. So for me to be able to get there, I'm probably being too nice. Or I'm probably being too hard on them. And I'm probably giving them losses that they should not get. But 10-7 was like as bad as I could do.
I don't disagree with you. It's I couldn't get any worse than that.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to make the playoffs, but San Francisco, I know they have the question marks. I know that they don't, we haven't seen them put it all together, but I feel like they're figuring it out. And now with Christian McCaffrey in the fold, things are going to get very interesting offensively for that team.
I've liked San Francisco all year long. That's another team. Health is a big thing because seemingly they only draft players that have that syndrome where you break your arms and legs every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with you. I think San Francisco still wins this division. It's close. I had them at 11-6 and Seattle at 10-7.
The interesting part is the Los Angeles Rams. I got them finishing the season at 6-11.
I have them at 7-10.
Oof. Did not think.
I don't know that you can fix their problem.
Mm-hmm. Which is the offensive line.
It's the offensive line. It's a stationary quarterback. It's injuries. It's depth. There's more than just, well, the offensive line's not good. The offense is not creative at all.
Right.
You don't have playmakers. You got a malcontent running back that you couldn't get out of town. I just don't have a lot of hope.
If they turn it around and make the playoffs, it'll be the greatest coaching job of Sean McVay's career.
And I just don't see how it happens.
I don't either.
I mean, virtually every one of these teams that we went down saying they have a chance to be a playoff team, they almost all play the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have a tremendous record against this because it takes 10-7 to make the playoffs.
Yep.
At least for me.
Yep, and they start that this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which you got to go on the road to win to get that game. And I don't know if you can do it. I know my team's been bad, but it's also that West Coast, East Coast thing. Yeah.
That's 425 West Coast coming in. So
true.
It's the percentages there are nicer.
Yeah, they're nicer, but it's still not good odds.
But, I mean, you're to tell me that the Rams are going to find a way to turn this around, you have to explain to me how they're going to go to Tampa, to New Orleans, to Kansas City, 2 dates with the Seattle Seahawks, and to Lambeau. Do you remember the last time they went to Lambeau?
I mean, I don't.
This team doesn't tend to play well when it gets chilly outside.
Right. And then there's the Arizona Cardinals, bottom feeders. I got them at 5-12.
I got them at 4-13.
Yikes! We're not too far off.
I told you yesterday. I think that's one of the worst teams in the league. I have them picking at 5.
Yeah, and as we've been all season long, I believe in them just a little bit more than you do, but it's still not a whole lot. And so when it comes to the playoffs, who's going to win it all?
I mean, for me, it still comes back to that's one thing that hasn't changed. Before the season, I had the Buffalo Bills as the prohibitive favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
In the preseason, I went back and checked the tape. I said the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be tough out in the playoffs. Now, I believed in Green Bay. I believed in Tampa. I'm still sticking Bills, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
I don't see how it's anything else.
Yeah.
Which means that probably neither one of them will make it.
Well, I mean, Steve and Tal will be glad to know I am officially changing my prediction.
Uh-oh. The kiss of death is headed elsewhere.
The kiss of death is now on the team that will match the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Philadelphia Eagles, undefeated Super Bowl champions. Let's fire them cannons or whatever y'all do. I don't know what you do. Climb up greased poles or eat horse crap in the street. I don't know.
Philadelphia, I'm sorry. I could not preclude him from doing that.
I got him facing the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl, and I knew Jeremy was going to take the Buffalo Bills, so screw it. Philadelphia Eagles, undefeated champions.
If you had, I swear, if you had said Buffalo Bills, I'd have thrown something at you until you unwound it.
David,
no.
Hey, David Zackwood as well, and I make it a habit not to make enemies out of the Asheville Police Department.
Bingo.
So, kiss of death. Sorry, Josh Michael and Aaron and all the other Philadelphia Eagles fans. You get it this time.
And congratulations, Baltimore Ravens fans. Now that he's jumped off your bandwagon, they won't lose another game.
That's right. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville tomorrow at 3 o'clock. 2 rounds?
Oh, well, that's not it. That will be after the show tomorrow. That's extra bonus content.
Oh, Jeremy's doing the draft after the show.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that we were going to do that on the show.
We can throw out some nice little tidbits. We'll talk about that in the show tomorrow as well.
All right. So a mock draft coming tomorrow, and who knows what else we'll get into right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Pulling up into the 70s this weekend. The calendar says it's November, but boy, it feels like springtime here in Asheville. Some sprinkles up from the southwest tonight, low 44. Partly cloudy Thursday, warm, high 70 degrees and upper 60s near 70 Friday and through the weekend. Could even see some mid-70s early next week for Monday. If you're curious, records around 80 degrees for Asheville at the airport for early November. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
A little crowded right now with stop-and-go traffic in Waynesville on 40 westbound between Crabtree Road and 276. Elsewhere, 40 eastbound delayed around Fines Creek Road, and then in Haywood, more slow traffic on 40 westbound around 215. In Asheville, delays on 240 westbound around Charlotte Street. Then on 40 westbound in Asheville, delays right around 26. I'm Tom Miter with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by NetSpend All Access Account. NetSpend All Access Account. Get the account designed for your everyday mobile banking needs. Banking services provided by an account established by Pathward NA. Member FDIC. Deposit account opening is subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.